what you get. That's what you get. Don't test it. Just do it. Don't never test anything. Is that in the way? Is that what is that? Why the camera has flipped? What have, okay. All right. No, that's right. Okay. Why is that sideways? All right. Okay. So, yeah, I don't test things in advance. I had the idea about, I don't know, 4 minutes ago. I was like, we should space that thing out. Okay, maybe, all right. Maybe if I do this. Was that enough movement? Did we get enough movement on there? Nope. Traditional the traditional live troubleshooting. Transform, flip, no, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Did we do it? I think is that backwards? I don't. Give me something with print on it. All right. Okay, that's upside down again. What do we want? Flip vertically? Transform, flip vertical. Nope, that's not it. That's not it at all. Flip vertical again. Flip horizontal. Nope. Yeah, that's backwards. That's messing up my head real bad. Is it? Is it though? Okay. I just hold it. So that's more, okay, I can get used to this, I think. That's just your POV. That's what you would see. See, to me, that's upside down. When we come back, see, it's upside down. Also, this color is now looking real. I'm really flashing out here. All right, yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll sort it. 90 degrees times 2. Yeah, we can stand on your heads. Flip vertical and horizontal. I've done so many now, I don't know where I am. So if I go, yeah, I'm coming in completely wrong. No, maybe I can't live with it. Oh, hold on. Nope. Oh, that's backwards. Okay. Huh? Okay, that might be it. We might, you know what? We might be there. We might be there. Also, that's fairly centered. That's fairly centered. We're in a place. How do we look on main camera? I think we've neglected again. I come out here intending to get things done, right? I do still have all the camera settings on. Menu. Oh, look, you get to watch. Like, dupe. And then we go to clean output, and we go, okay. And it's still on. Oh, I was ready. I was ready for today. I was prepared. I was prepared. Yeah, absolutely prepared. I wanted to move this camera out from the wall about 6 inches, and I was like, you were cleaning and you found that spacer tube, so we can move that thing out so it gets more of a top down and less of that. We had that tilt to it, less tilt. And we come back here. All right. I think we fixed it. We fixed it. We're going to get very little done, I'm sure. That is part and parcel of a Friday experience here in the canyon. This is, so, I don't know how many times I've mentioned it. We'll mention it again. I get paid by the Google ears. I get paid on the 21st of every month. I gotta quit some things. I get paid on the 21st of every month, and I blow all that money. Like I blew all that money by the 23rd. So it is a little bit rosy now because I did color correction in the camera. So it's like it's like we're outdoors under the lights again. This is more like a natural color because these are 6500K lights above us, which are basically blue. So the color of that up there now coming through the camera is a lot closer to the color of that. The way the camera settings were before, it was really blue, really blue. So I think this is also I look at the neutral face. Those colors, because they're pretty much right above each other like that, it's a lot closer than it was. Are you going to paint the giveaway truck like the Morvair? I don't think so. It's going to be like a two-tone, like an old-timey two-tone, similar to what's on GFO, but different colors, something along those lines. I don't think it really has a Morvair feel to it. It's super lightweight. It surprised me with its performance all around. It's sitting over there still very dirty. It hasn't moved since I finished that video. Well, more personal and less commercial feel. Hey, I'm all right with that. I was trying to link to a video in one of my videos in the Deep Woods, and I couldn't find the video where you ran the Deep Woods backwards and forwards. What's the video called? Oh, I think it's in the from the comments, because I think someone suggested running them backwards. I think I've done like 4 videos where people have asked me to run tires backwards, and for some reason I keep doing it, even though it effectively never works. Like a tire might be modestly better or significantly worse, but I've never seen a tire get like way better backwards. Tusks are the only one I can even think of that I run in both configurations. On dig fitted vehicles, I will tend to run it. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I will tend to run it so this is forward. Okay, this is forward. So the tire is going this way. I will run them this way in the front, but I will run them this way in the rear. It seems to work better for dig. My camera's a little dark. We need to brighten that up. I don't want to do that right now. Other than that, every tire here. Oh, no, that's not true. Megalithics, ruptures, all those. I've tried it and tried it and tried it. It does not appear to make a difference. The megalithic has a little point in the middle. We got that little point. And then there's this kind of like, I don't know, like a mouth with a mustache shape. You can run them either way, and it effectively doesn't matter. They perform exactly the same. I'm talking about running tires in reverse, where they're talking about like stuff like this. That is clearly the forward direction, and then people are like, turn it around and run it backwards. It destroys your forward drive. Like, they'll run them backwards like this on monster trucks because it gives them less grip. So I'm not in the market for less grip. The one that did surprise me though was in the Redux for Rovers. Yeah, the AB actually does make a difference rig to rig. I don't know if it would make a difference for absolutely everybody. Misdirection had basically a mix. I hadn't paid attention to the way they were mounted, and it did indeed turn out on the test rig that it was, what was it, A in the front and B in the rear is what worked better, and it was noticeable, like immediately noticeable. But that's a tire that's marked AB. So I don't think that tire has explicitly a forward and a backward. It just has, do you want them rotating A direction or do you want them rotating B direction? I didn't think there was going to be a difference at all, but who knows? Who knew? There is a difference. Doesn't matter what the color settings are. I'm basically colorblind. Yeah. I mean, that happens. So, in terms of channelversary, not really. Okay, it is. I signed up for YouTube. I created a YouTube account on August 23rd, 2006. So this is the 18th anniversary of me signing up for a YouTube channel. But in terms of this stuff, The first video with voiceover was August 28th of 2021. So we will be getting the Crawler Canyon 3rd anniversary is coming up in the Tuesday? Wednesday. So Wednesday of next week is the actual 3-year anniversary of Crawler Canyon as an element of the channel. But the YouTube anniversary is today on the 23rd. You still need that 27 turn. For that, who did I say needs the 27? Is it who needs it? What was I building that needs the 27? See, I already forgot. So that'll tell you. That'll tell you how scrambled my brain is. All right, we got like 70 people. 70 people's plenty. We've officially begun. We've started now. Have we started? I guess we've started. Wait. Back to camera 2. Camera 1. Camera 2. Back to camera 1. We did, oh, it is for the giveaway one? It's for the... Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, someone had mentioned, they were asking on the Discord about the stiction that happens in GTS shocks. So this guy was just sitting up on a yoga block over there since whenever I recorded that episode that went up. And when you first set him down, he just goes like that. And you have to like, I think it's something particular to shocks that use slotted pistons rather than drilled pistons, because I've noticed that behavior in slotted piston shocks, not just GTSs. I think a big part of it with the GTS though is the very small bore, because they tend to not feel as smooth as other shocks until they've been cycled around a little. So it could be a 2-part deal. There's still that weird, but no party at night at your place. There's still that weird shadow in the night lights. Huh? Thank you for the S5 compound tips on my TRX4. Looks a bit weird, but the grip is insane. Yeah, and you guys, I remember, Sweden, you guys have the climate 100% for the S5s. I won't get to bring bust out on any of my S5s for about another 2 months. For the giveaway one, yes. Where's the one that I missed? Oh, did Lil Fella get his whittle ladder? Indeed. Not even removed from the packaging yet. It's not a complete chimney until it's got a whittle ladder on it. How long are they expecting this thing to stay in the packaging when they put a silica gel in there? I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a hop-up part come with a silica packet in it. Please make this giveaway special again like the initial Ratchet one. Well, it's not done yet, so you don't have to worry about me giving it away this week. It will probably be next week. Yes. And it is probably not there. I don't think there is going to be a stream on. I need to get to my calendar. I don't want to get the dates wrong. I'm not good with dates. There should not be a stream on September 6th because it is my son's 21st birthday and we will not be local. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. The place that we go to, I don't know. They might have Wi-Fi. I don't know. But I'm saying tentatively we're going to miss our first week. We've been very consistent since we started, but we might not have one on the September 6th, 2 weeks from today. The Nocturne setup is top-notch. It needs a couple more boxes of lights, and guess what they didn't have at Costco when I went to Costco the day before yesterday? They did not have the lights, and it's the only place you can get them. I don't know how to pronounce it. F-E-I-T, Fiat, Fiat. I've always said Fiat. Fiat Electric makes those exclusively for Costco, and I already have 11 strands of them, so I'm not going to buy something else. Who is more from Sweden? Antos Holm, Mr. Rombo, is from Sweden. The S5 is up in the Pacific Northwest of the bee's knees. Yeah, the S4, I think, is just more versatile. In terms of, though, of like absolute amount of grip, it's the S5s. It's the XHX pins. They will go harder. Just if it starts to get, it's like Predator. If it gets hot, they don't work so good. 21st anniversary is really big in the States from what I've heard. Yeah, we're doing it as a family thing so that he doesn't go off and do anything grotesquely irresponsible. He'll be limited to a familial level of irresponsibility. Here's the guy. You can't tell what kind of savagery you're inflicting when it's dark out there. But this thing took a beating. It's getting painted on the inside, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But that wheel, there's something about that wheel. Yeah, it does need a higher turn though. Well, no, not higher. It's got a 21 in it, and the 21 is too hot. Hey, I'm remembering now. Yeah, that's the one that could use like a 27 turn. But it's a giveaway, so I don't know if I'm going to go out and buy a 27 turn specifically for something I'm giving away. These C1 S5 pins are definitely not S4 thickness in the sidewall. That is fantastic to hear, because I'm as disappointed in those S4 class ones as anything. Are you going to do a tire testival for the Corvair even if it goes away without tires? I don't think I am. Because it's big. I mean, the way that body is set up, it's a class 1 rig. Those tires are too big, but they do work. And I think they'll fit the overall theme of it. I haven't decided if I want to paint them over so they don't look patinaed like that. And like I say, that one's not ready to go. So those decisions will be made upcoming, I guess. Have I presented my thoughts on the Proline Aztecs? I have not. Because it is the fundamental Proline problem. Which is you have your choice between G8 and Predator. G8 is outdated. There are a lot of compounds that are superior to G8, and some of those compounds are older than G8. And then you have Predator, which under very specific circumstances, those Predator will be amazing and they will elevate the tire. But like right now, today, Predator won't work at all, and G8 will be fair. I put G8 right below the old Durtrax C3, which is not historically one of the grabbiest compounds. Yet at the same time, Proline compounds gas out faster than anybody else's and dry rot. So I don't know what the excuses that they have to offer for G8 are. I don't make any excuses for G8. Proline is by far the least run tire here. There's 3 rigs outfitted with Proline tires, I think. There might be 2. There's 3. Boggers, a set of Baja Pros, and a set of Flatiron XLs. That's it. Out of like 50 vehicles. I bought a set of those fake Draptex, and the piston top was a piece of galvanized metal, maybe a millimeter thick. Now I see they were $9. Yeah, they were going with the washer at the top for a long time. Franco Tarantino is trying to neg his way into getting a giveaway. I mean, it'll work. It'll work. You can put the rough stuff 27 turn on the Cougar for testing if you want. I'm not going to put anything in it for testing. Anything that goes in it is leaving with the vehicle. I created a background yard crawler course and named it Crawler Canyon. My bad. Any suggestions on a rebrand? I mean, here's the thing. I don't feel like I own the name. It's just 2 words. It is a canyon. It is Crawler Canyon because alliterative names are better. They stick in your head. So if you want to be part of the Crawler Canyon network, there's a Crawler Canyon in Illinois as well. I don't have any problem with them. I just have to remember on every single video to disable automatic places, even though I have filled out all of the Google information to make this Crawler Canyon a place. It still refers people to the Crawler Canyon in Illinois, and I have to turn it off manually in every single video. And you know what I don't do? I don't remember to do it about 80% of the time. Sometimes I'll go through a batch and turn off automatic places on about a half a dozen of them, but I have 1,100 videos. It's tough. Yeah, Baby Flatirons too. They're still up here on the hook. Whatever happened to Gate Rover? Feel like I'm forgetting something obvious. He became the Ghost Rover, in which he got completely rebuilt and fitted with Argentum's old body. So his old body is still sitting over there waiting for a future build to put that body on. But the Gate Rover became the Ghost Rover. How does one get to crawl at the canyon? The place looks really fun. The best way to do it is live somewhere in the Southern California Inland Empire area so that you don't have to drive or take an airplane to get here. But if you show up, you can drive as much as you want, and we have lights so you can stay out there and after I go to bed if you want. You can crawl to your heart's content, and as you've seen, there's plenty of open space. You can bring a tent with you, and you can sleep on the ground with the ants and the lizards. Everyone is welcome because nothing bad has happened. So everyone is welcome to crawl at their own risk to their heart's desire. But there are no fees for entry. There's none of that. You come out here and you play with toy cars, and I'll probably talk your ear off. That's pretty much how that works. I'm not even entering this giveaway. No room. I hope it goes to a youngster or someone getting started. Yeah. Have you tried the Power Hobby tires? West Hunt, if you're referring to the grabbers, the Power Hobby grabber, what I categorize as the worst effort, they managed to mess up a pin. It is the least high-performing pin tire. I know that over on his channel, Irwin has gotten some good work out of them after printing super custom, bespoke 3D printed inserts for them. He's getting some decent performance out of them on wet Belgian rock, but they were borderline terrible here. And at that time, they were pro-line priced, so they were $32 or $33 a pair. So you could buy a set of S4 pins and a set of S5 pins and have enough left over to almost buy a set of silicone inserts for the cost of just the grabbers. So the only Jetco that has been any good here was the Conqueror. The others have all been That's been the range of that. Are you getting the Mias LCG chassis? I plan to, indeed. It looks similar to your Crawler Canyon from Google Earth. What does? Crawler Gulch is pretty good. You need to put some like skeletons out there and stuff, because when you think Gulch, you think like, I mean, I probably should have been Crawler Gulch because this is the desert. And crickets. I could be Cricket Canyon, that's for sure. Setup fee for entry might end up being swinging a camera. The cameraman position is probably going to be open forever. We'll find out if it ever gets filled. I want to sleep with some lizards in the Lizard Kingdom. Well, there's plenty. If I can get what is described as limited edition Orange Defender Canyon Trails, what compound would they be? To my knowledge, all Canyon Trails now are S1. There used to be an RTR compound, which lasted on the Defenders for quite a while, but pretty much where did I leave my water? Pretty much every other model had gone to the S1. They're all S1s now. All of them. The High Trails, everything. That's very Traxxas to just spec a singular compound and make all the tires out of that compound. The grabber that Irwin tested is the old one you tested. I didn't even remember that I sent them. Any tips on making the TRX4 gearbox more quiet? Just shove a lot of grease in it. The TRX4 gearbox is a little bit louder because it has huge contact surfaces on all straight cut gears. They don't bevel cut any of their gears. They're just straight cut gears. And they do this for strength. They're big, heavy gears. And if you just fill it up with a lot of grease, it will quiet it down a bit. But a TRX4 box is never going to be as quiet as like a Stealth. A Stealth is going to be as quiet as you can get, pretty much. Hey, everybody. How's the bugger build going? It is still hanging on a hook over there. I mounted the body. I need to mount the electronics and get it ready to, I guess, effectively ghost ride, because it won't be painted. But it is pretty much ready to run. I just have to, basically, here's what happens. Visitor garage is on the other side of the wall. If something is hanging on the other side of the wall, I basically forget that it exists. And I need to clear space so that I can move things around so things don't get forgotten for a year. Because that's what happens here. Crawler Canyon in Chicago looks like Crawler Canyon in California with Google Earth. I thought that their course was indoors. I'm just going to Google map it. Yeah, Mount Unit Road, City Block. I mean, to me it looks like, oh, well, I mean, they do have a big truck parking yard next door on Mound Road. But I don't see a grotesque similarity. Yeah, I've never shimmed a TRX for a gearbox. I just put them together. Get that Willys on the bench. It's coming up. It's probably going to be 2 weeks before you see it again. How could you forget the Marksman? Because I put the Marksman back into a box and then put it under the bench. So, and all I need to do is swap a power plant into it. Just put something really, really stupid in it and see how fast it'll go and for how long. You can see the canyon structures on Google Earth now in our yard. Yeah, you can see, I don't remember, the update was a while ago on Google Earth, Google Maps, Google Earth. But most of it is there. Like, Hannah Montana wasn't properly built yet. You can see most of Deadline on it. But like the new storage shed and stuff like that, none of that is there. So it looks like it's about not nearly as far out of date as usual. Oh, it's the big blocks. If you see the canyon from space, the giant container full of the huge 16-inch cubes is out there, and those predate the building of the side hill. So maybe that picture is from a good long while back. Yeah. Oh, what are we doing today? You'll never believe it. I could tell you, but you'll never believe it. We'll see if anyone can figure out what it is. We'll put it face down like that. We'll see if anybody can figure it out from space. $80 views and 40 likes. According to my thing, it says 96 viewers online right now. Would you like to test a set of large 2.2 tusks? You mean the 579s, the ones that are on RoboKitty? I think RoboKitty's been on them for a hot minute, and you need a big old vehicle to mount two tusks in the full size, for real. Where are you located? I'm in Vacaville. Let me see. Okay, we'll do it directions, and we'll see how long it would take you to get here. It's going to be a minute. Pops, you are 470 miles away. According to this, you would be on the 5 freeway for a long, hot minute. It would take you about 7.5 hours to get here. That's a lot. That's a lot. And we'll also give people indication of just how big California is, because I'm 2.5 hours from the southern border, and he's probably about 6 hours from the northern border. So, California. They're starting something in the empty field next to the golf course. I have no idea. They have like 4 canals with rocky walls. Oh. Yeah, they're building new stuff right down here by the Lowe's, and they have 2 plants running. There's so many rocks. There's so many rocks. I want those rocks. That's a 2 straight rail. Is it 2 straight? Too long and 2 straight. Look at that. It's like a gutter. Oh, Curtis Knudsen is heading to his local crawl spot. Mr. Mythigan is getting a drill press and a mini lathe. He's going to make some stuff. Are you going to build a 6x6 to tow Cardi B? It would have to be excessively robust to be able to tow that trailer. That trailer with everything on it, it holds 3 cameras now, so it'll go out there typically with 4 rigs, extra batteries, a tool bag, 3 cameras. It's heavy. I have one hand on the handle and one hand on it because it is a serious thing to tow. You would need like an SCX6 to tow it. Yeah, this is a no CG chassis. That is true. Oh, great. He's making drawers. That's not bad. For me to get to Tucson, Arizona from California, a little bit faster, but not tremendously shorter of a distance. 425 miles to Tucson, about 6 hours. It's not terribly far. Yeah, I don't live too far away, and the freeways around here suck. It takes him 45 minutes. Yeah, that's about right. 5.25 is an inch. I'm not ordering. I've already made the deal with myself. I'm not ordering Injora silicones until they're on Amazon. I don't want to order them from China and wait 3 weeks to get them. I would rather wait 3 weeks and just buy them off Amazon. Cardi B needs the new cross tractor. Oh, Pops lived in SoCal up until about 2 years ago. I understand why people get out. I do. My daughter's dream RC is that Red Cat hauler ramp truck, which is inexplicably priced at $500. Six-wheel drive SCX6. Oh. How about from Vancouver, British Columbia? Oh, I want to know. I don't think you could do it in a day. Well, it's 1,450 miles. According to Google Maps, 23 hours on the fastest route. You will pass through. You actually do most of the whole route through the middle of Nevada. Yeah, you go through Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and then California to get here. That would be a drive. I've been to Vancouver once. I was in Vancouver in 1986 for the World's Exposition. Any plans to test the AliExpress oil slick shocks with offset caps or the new Rhino shocks? Would you like a spoiler? I'll give you a spoiler. There's your spoiler for the installment. So, have I done a video on those? Yeah, I would say you can be pretty comfortable in saying that I have. I can drive north to south in the UK in 9 hours. Yow. Did you see the guy that's putting the tuning rods in the silicone Endura? Yeah, I have. And the situation that you would need to put rods in silicones is so incredibly small. Like, the number of instances where you would need to do that, I can't even imagine what the situation would be. I'm gonna try closing this. Yeah, I'm still dropping tons of frames. Yeah, I've dropped 3,000 frames. Somebody mentioned that it looks like I'm stuttering every once in a while. Yeah. But yeah, tuning rods, yeah, I don't get it. They make their inserts in 2 or 3. Like, I guess you would have to shim or put rods in a blue if your rig was like 13 or 14 pounds. But there's a decent overlap between the green and the blue. I don't know, actually maybe 10 or 11. You might have to put rods in those. But, like, that Kuwu chassis out of the box with that Corvair on it is 5 pounds even. So it would, if anything, be a little too stiff for greens. I mean, a little too light for greens. So I've never had to rod an insert other than a Three Brothers, which require them. I average 600 miles in an 11-hour day driving a semi. No, thank you. I try to average less than 600 miles a month. Trying to look up Crawler Canyon on my phone, and all that comes up is the one in Illinois. Yeah. I need to get on that. Somebody recommended it to me. There's like a crawling spot map where you can put things on the crawling map. And I was like, that looks cool. And then I forgot the name of the website. I forgot the whole thing. So I haven't added myself to that. And then it wouldn't really be super hyper public anyway, because only people using that app would be able to find it. Oh, you got get some yellow ones. I don't know why those shocks came with orange springs. They just do. They're the same rates as the black ones that come on the other ones. What LiPo for Radio Link do I buy? If it is available to you in a close fashion, Gen Zeiss, 7.4 volt 3800. There's its huge number down there on the bottom. We can get them on Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can get them most anywhere else. There are also, I don't know if I can find a radio quickly enough that has one. There are little 2800 packs that are like lime green, and they're designed to fit in the Radio Link radios. Those work equally well, but typically the 3800 is about $5 more, and for some reason lasts about twice as long, despite only having about 30% more capacity. So, who knows? Only a measly 2,100 miles. That's not that far. Did you see Enjora's 8% off sale for being in business for 8 years? I had. Yeah, I think I accidentally signed up for Enjora emails on 2 email accounts, so I get a lot of Enjora emails, like a lot. Don't ignore the question this week. Are you renaming X-Mullet to what I suggested? I already forgot what you suggested. Just like I forgot the map thing for crawling spots. Zombie was crazy amazing on Mavericks. I had to go through that lap. I had to go through those times multiple times because I didn't believe it. Now, I just gave that teeter just a kick. Like I nudged it with my foot to get the teeter to go up so he would go down. I don't think he really got helped that much. I did kick it before he made it to the end. If anything, he would still be in second place. He's like 7/10 ahead of third, and I don't think I gave him 7/10 of an advantage. The fact that he did it on 4.3 ripsaws is enough. Just ordered an aluminum copy of the Proline Twin I-Beam kit off of eBay. Time to build a pre-runner. Just need to pick a hard body. Oh. Maps.io. That's it. That's it. Bloopa tried the RC map site and the map was completely empty within an hour of me. I'm in a, there's a huge circle, not an hour wide, but I would say 30 minutes. And there's nothing in that 30-minute circle, in a 30-minute radius, easily, except me. The orange springs are to mimic the orange mini T-springs. I mean, that was my assumption, but I don't know why. There's nothing particularly iconic or memorable about the mini T-springs. I travel to SoCal every once in a while for paintball tournaments. Got to stop by one day and see the place. Yeah, yeah. And if you're going to tournaments, I'm going to guess SC Village or the one that's owned by SC Village, the one that's out in LA. You would basically drive right past me to get there. I'm not that far from Corona, Chino. Have you ever used Class 1 Endura silicone with a wrap of fridge foam like a Canyon Custom? Yes. That is what is in the pivots that are on Lord Pennaby, first of his name. That's exactly what's in there. Did you see Trial mix brass knuckles for IFS 2? I did not. The app is called What 3 Words? Wait, is that a real thing? Is there an app called What 3 Words? I'm confused now. It was empty before for around 2 hours until I added my own stuff. Justin is about 55 minutes to our good spot. Yeah, there's nothing here. And the nearest spot is Southridge or up Horseman's in Apple Valley, which is just miserable all the time. And someone will probably just steal your car. So that's the kind of thing that'll prompt you to just build your own course in your yard, because I don't want to drive half an hour each way. That's an hour. Most days I don't have an hour to crawl, and it would take half an hour to get there and half an hour to get back. How can there be nothing in Spain that less than 7 to 8 hours? You got to get some rocks. I use What 3 Words, and it can get you to a specific rock within a meter or two. I'm just Googling over here. Every 3 meters square of the world has been given a unique combination of 3 words. Huh. What? I've never heard of this in my life. Can you explain the way you're doing the time for the Olympics? I don't understand the 5-minute limit if you're trying to get lap times. Okay. Organized Chaos, that's a fantastic question, sir. The 5-minute limit is not a hard established limit. I set a 5-minute timer on the watch and the timer goes down because otherwise, you as soon as somebody says go, you lose all sense of time. So I would just keep driving laps until like the battery went into cutoff. So that's just to kind of refine it down to where we can keep vehicles within the limits of the recording of the video, to try to get 4 runs in under 30 minutes. That's the only goal. We just pick the fastest lap that they ran during that 5-ish minutes. It's between 5 and 6 minutes. It's kind of like how they would do qualifying, open qualifying at a racetrack. Everybody goes out during open qualifying time, and the fastest lap they run in open qualifying is their qualifying time. They run as many laps as they can. There's no set number of laps or anything like that. And that's kind of the format I used it for, mostly to try to keep the videos to a fairly consistent length. Oh, it moved up. Okay, there we go. Nothing within 2 hours. Yeah. So the X mullet looks like a boat turned super sharp as blade thing, the name Cutlass. Cutlass is not a bad name for that guy at all. It really does look like a boat. Mias is making brass for the H10 optic axles. There is a set inbound as we speak for the optic that is right over there, just out of frame right over there. Can you ask Sideshow Bob to text me? My phone died right after the Funduro. I don't honestly. That's a puzzling request. Oh, Pops is out. Yes, there's what 3 words is the location at. We use it if we break down and have to be picked up in the van. Huh. I drove half hour each way last night just to crawl for 30-ish minutes. Those are the closest rocks. Yeah, I wasn't gonna deal with that. Have you seen the 2.2-inch silicones in green and blue? Yes, I'm not ordering them until they're on Amazon. The place nearest to me is now a homeless encampment and shooting gallery. That's fun. Yes, there's nothing in the rcmap.io thing because before I signed up for it, I went to the webpage and looked at it and said, that's kind of neat, and then forgot about it. How I found the canyon on Google is I just looked at the San Bernardino airport. Yeah, I am appropriately close to that. It's right over that way. I need to drive to 2 hours to get to anything on RC Maps. You could add your what 3 words for the canyon. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that window open on my phone in the hopes that I'll remember to do it. We'll see how that works. The Horizon Hobby tugboat is on sale. Don't tempt me to buy a tugboat when I don't have water to put a tugboat in. Y'all know I want a tugboat. Have you seen the Mias chassis that's going for $139 on Amazon? It's called the Gold something. I don't think I have. Bear Roads, the only rocks near me are the backyard because I drug them here from other places. Hey, we are very similar in that way. I've been getting into and spending my children's inheritance on all the supplies to build the Harley Designs Jimmy's buggy weld up frame kit. Have you ever thought about doing a weld up frame buggy? I have. But that's a serious time investment. I'm not ruling it out. It's one of those things. How would I know that Machine Dread is Sideshow Bob? I feel like I missed part of that conversation. How come you don't have a rig or something to look at on the bench as you chat? We would love to see some of your rigs as I listen. I bet I'm not the only one. All right. What are the 3 words? Please send help would be 3 great words. All right. You all saw this. I'm not done complaining about it. People won't leave me alone about it. Tugboat for the pond. The pond right now has been overgrown. It's the time in summer where the pond is overgrown by these plants that go dormant in the winter, and then they explode back to life in the summer. And they've basically filled the entire pond. You can't even see the pump. You can't even see the fountain in the middle of the pond. It's just full. We are doing the invisible build. I told you that I'm easily distracted, and I'm not. Let's put that right there. I'm not highly motivated, but you know what I did do? I came out here this morning and I vacuumed for an hour and a half. Because it felt gritty on my feet. And then while I was over there vacuuming, some will remember. There'll be a couple people that remember. I fixed these links. Look, the things are level now. I fixed the links. There's a very small chance. There's a very small chance that, oh, wait, rant. Okay, so, LP Tusks on an optic. No one would argue. Perfect tire size. Look at that. Perfect. Also, when you put a servo on there that can actually do something, the steer angle is pretty good. It's not as good as an F10, but it's not bad. And I think some of that limitation is both the new knuckle design and the stupid fake hydraulic thing. You see that the yoke bottoms out. So they've built in an automatic steering limiter and it's in the middle. But regardless, It is inexcusable. No one can find an excuse that works for why this vehicle came from the factory fitted with 475 Yokohama Geolanders, other than Vanquish is actively nickel and diming all of us to death. Because scrolling Facebook, why just yesterday, I note that there is the Geolander XMT that is basically this size, which means it's probably going to be terrible. I have to test it, but Vanquish still doesn't know how to make a tire. So unless they've outsourced that tire to someone else, it's going to be poor, because the thickness of the sidewall and the thickness of the carcass are basically determined by the compound. And what Vanquish chooses to do is make an extraordinarily soft compound, and then make the carcass so thin that you can literally feel the texture. You can see the lugs from the inside of the tire, which is how you know. And you've all seen the Vanquish Red thing, right? It's a rubber band, right? Stupid. How long they've been in business? Learn to make a tire. Like these. It's like Axial in reverse. Axial makes tires too thick for no reason other than, I guess, durability over time. And Vanquish makes tires too thin for no reason. Except, I guess there's fewer grams of material in it, so they're saving money yet again. There are a lot of mountains near me, but it will be a half-hour drive and it's very hot, and rattlesnakes. Nope. What tires are on the Banana? I think I saw that somebody already got it. They're RC four-wheel drive Milestar Patagonias, and they're in X2 S3, which sucks. They're also dry rotting violently on the inner sidewall. Last time I had the Banana out, I was like, oh no, I don't want to buy another set of those tires. What does that rear end go in a Tamiya Semi? That's the beauty. It's been so long since it's been on the bench that people don't even remember what it goes to. I think I call that a categorized success. It's not an uncategorized success, but it's a categorized success. Yeah, that Vanquish opting to come out to release that tire less than 2 months after they released this is just, I guess the word flagrant works in this situation. That's messed up. They should have released that tire by saying the all-new H10 optic with the all-new, and then here it is. Here it is. They could have put those XMTs on this and then opted not to sell them for a couple months. So the only way to get them would be on the optic. But instead, no, they went for the pay $500 for this and then pay, they're going to be $32 a pair, at least $29 a pair, and then pay $60 for tires that are overly thin on the sidewall, will have an overly stiff foam. Meanwhile, these tusks are running on squids. That look at the bag out. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I'm never gonna like it. You can just put the link on the steering instead of the dumb hydro. That's true. I mean, that's true. Well, no, you can't. You can't. You'd have to change the knuckle because the hydro is so close to the axle axis that a regular link would still strike. Even if you took the hydro piece off and just went to a straight link, I think it would still hit the axle. No, it would hit the axle for sure because that's angled out. They did what they wanted to do, that's for sure. How low do you run your lipos? 3.3 or 3.5? I think I have them set at like 3.2. Well, especially with all the guys that are running these tiny little things, because if I set it to something higher, I'll get like 15 minutes of runtime and I won't even be able to get through a whole video. I bet Vanquish 2.2s are more than 30. I'd guess 35 to 40 because they're bigger. I wouldn't. Oh, 30 a pair. Okay, so they stayed the same price. Tire suggestions, please. Good scale tire, closest possible to 115. Dang it. Dang it, Crushinator. 115. 4.5? Yeah, you're good. Good luck. Good luck. You and me both, pal. You and me both, buddy. Nobody out there making a solidly decent 4.5-inch tire. It doesn't exist. The 4.5-inch tires out there that do exist range between awful and terrible and awful. Like, you can get a Boom Racing Hustler in 445. That's a thing that you can get. Which Proline Toyos? Because the G8 Proline Toyos are 475s. They're on the Jeep over there. Yeah, they're not anywhere near 4.5. How about the new TF2? Did they change anything other than the body? What did they change? They did something with the Leafs, but from what I've read in early things, people are saying that what they did with the Leafs didn't help. I think we can put this guy right here, and then he'll be in frame and out of my way. Yeah, look at that. We got plenty of bench here. There's 4.45 Toyos as well from Proline and G8. Oh, I mean, that's not bad. But it's still G8. You know, a Toyo in a different compound would be better. But we can't have everything. Where would we put it? This was very confusing, by the way. I was looking through the manual to try to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. And I will point out in a moment why it was confusing. Also, they want me to stick this through these holes right here. And this is rubber. I don't know, heat gun maybe? Tony, yes, Tony is correct. There is a Pitbull Rock Beast in that size. But Pitbull Rock Beasts are absolutely horrible here. Not Hustler bad, but pretty bad. So I would have to be certain that someone was in an area where they knew Rock Beasts are going to work. They do not work here. They absolutely do not work here. If J Concepts could do a licensed tire in green, that would be amazing. Yeah, we know why they do it. Because companies charge criminal amounts of money to license tires to be run on toy cars. But then there's those places where in order to run the tire in competition, it has to be a licensed tire. So I know that's a thing for people. And that right there is both proof that Sorka is loaded with Proline dudes, because that's why they're still making G8s. They're still making G8 compound because they don't have to make the compound any better, because there are a lot of instances where people are forced to run that tire in that compound because it has to be scale. The other option is, here's what we need to do. We don't need we don't need J Concepts to make a licensed tire. We need J Concepts to go the route of like Pitbull. J Concepts needs to start making real world tires. Like, they need to make a Tusk for side-by-sides. And then that tire will be licensed, and then people will be able to run it. These seem too long, but I'm just doing what I'm told. I think the Rock Beasts suck horribly in New Jersey as well. Somewhere, clearly somewhere they work. I just have not found where that place is. I think the buggy rules have to have the licensed tire rules, since it's easier to say than you have a list of banned tires like pins. Yeah, true. Rules of exclusion are a lot better, where you just say, you know, has to be licensed. Any licensed tire. That works. It does work. I think that it's I think it's motivated. I absolutely, no one can convince me that it's not. It does sound grand conspiratorial that I'm saying that Proline makes substandard compound tires because they know they have a guaranteed market, because they also have their hands in a competitive body that requires you to run licensed tires. And I would say, I mean, G8 is better than X2, S3. So, but if I'm running in that class and I have to run a licensed tire, I'm gonna run Baja Claws. I'm not gonna run anything from Proline, that's for sure. Because our X2SS is gonna beat the snot out of G8 no matter what the day is. Oh, Camo Crawler can't stay. Not on the anniversary. Not on the anniversary. You'll end up straight in the doghouse. I have oral surgery in about 18 hours. So the wife was like, you should be sure to take it easy out there. And I was like, look, the stream goes on as long as the stream goes on. So when I was trying to, so we're putting leaf hangers on the drawer pulls. This would make a pretty good drawer slide. And I was deeply confused. The only difference between one rail and the other is one has got a little notchy. It's got a little notchy on it. So I was trying to figure out where that oriented. And then I noticed that the logos are upside down. And there's no other way to build this. It has to be built this way. So both of them cross. Why would you do that? I mean, a human being's initial inclination would be label up, right? Nope. Those three holes are at the top. I quintuple checked it because I've put so many parts of this thing together wrong before. Does the doghouse have Wi-Fi so that you can watch crawling? Yeah. J Concepts needs to make a big horn like Maxxis did for the Polaris. Yeah. I want to see a 1/1 size J Concepts tire. So I've been told, people, you need to remember this information. Pit bulls work on limestone in the UK at 27 degrees Celsius at 2:30 after spinning counterclockwise 3 times. That seems right. Ooh, 5 gifted memberships from Andre Rosu, throwing them down again. I'm telling you, it looks like a saw blade. It just goes like this. 5 gift memberships gifted, then they drop off. Then 5 more gifted, and then they drop off. I'm looking at your optic and thinking I know to the shed and pull the stickers off mine. Yeah, doesn't it look cleaner? And also, I don't know if he bought or they sent him that grill. That grill breaking up all the blue. Yeah, it just looks better debadged. I had honestly thought about scuffing these down and painting them. Something a little closer to the lightness of this. Like a very, you know how Tamiya has that really expensive, I think they call it like anodized blue polycarbonate paint? Something along the lines of that anodized blue, because coming up soonly in the 95 millimeter. Oh, more spoilers for tomorrow. Is that an oil spot? That looks like an oil spot. I will be assembling these shortly. So we're getting these on here. I am definitely not putting, well, I don't know. Blue and orange are complementary colors. You know what? I might actually be okay. But we're going to throw some oil slicks. Oh, yeah, that is wet. That mineral oil is all over the place. Oh, look at let me get camera 2. Look at the, oh, that bladder is not seated at the top. Oh, not as bad out of that one. Yeah, these are moist. But yeah, getting the matching oil slicks on there. Yeah, I was looking at the stickers on it, and I started by just peeling off. I think I peeled off the inner one on the hood, and then I said, you know what? That looks nice. Heat gun. If you have a heat gun or a hair dryer, absolutely no residue. You can get them off in about 5 minutes. And then I had done the hood, and I was like, well, now we might as well do the roof. And I did the roof, and I go, and now the panels, and it just looks better. It just looks better. Without stickers is cool, but a custom paint job with various colors, that's next level. I might have to do it then. I have a paid membership on one of my YouTube accounts, but went to the wrong account somehow, so I occasionally now have to get 2 memberships. All right, I'll take it. I almost bought that color. The boys picked it at the register, but I found it. Yeah, it's like $16 a can for that like anodized blue. Or now I'm going to have to check. If Spaztics does blue-green shift, oh, just go all in. Just do the body blue-green shift. Because then if it scratches, it's still blue underneath. Oh, that might be the guy. That might be the guy. Don't worry, it'll mostly evaporate. It took like 10 paper towels to get the set that's on Wolverine cleaned up and rebuilt. They actually came filled with mineral oil, and there was so little damping action, it felt like nothing. So I just haphazardly unscrewed the cap, and here came the mineral oil. The mineral oil does clean up a lot easier than the silicone, so it doesn't leave as much carnage behind. Are those rainbow shocks built like the old good fake Dravs? No, they are cartridge. Oh, I did not look at the 95s, actually. The 115s were cartridge. The 115s. Sadly, the 115s were cartridge. These are, no, they're cartridge. Yeah. It seems to be the way they're going. This hollow ball has a metal. It's got a, like from a lathe. Quality. They're nicely made, and they do have pistons. They do have pistons. The shocks leak to get the right shine on the oil slicks. That's true. There's Rust-Oleum Mistachrome. Uh-oh. If I can buy it without ordering or going to a hobby shop, then we're here. Oh, the cartridge thing. I have a 1mm drill bit. It's in the video. It's in the video, but I know I don't want to count on. I don't want to make people be like, I'm not going to explain it to you. You have to watch the video. So here's what I did. It's in the video as well. This is an old hinge pin. I want to say it's for a front arm for a Traxxas. So you don't need one of these. I just happen to have one. So you see this little guy, what we've done here? See how it's got like 2 little notchies? I insert this down into the front of the shock. I take this little boy. I make 2 punchies, pop, pop. If you don't put this in there, the aluminum is thin enough and soft enough that the shock shaft will no longer fit into the shock. So this is to make that retainer maintain its shape. Again, this is all in the video. And then I take the smallest drill bit you've ever seen. You might have to buy one if you don't have one. This is a 1mm drill bit. It happens to be the smallest bit that my drill will accept. My big chuck only goes 1 to 16. I chuck it all the way up so that just like that much of it is sticking out of the drill chuck. And because it takes a nice sharp punch, I just go bip, bip, and I make 2 holes in that little retainer while the body is still fully assembled. I make 2 little holes, and those little holes accept the prongs on these guys, and then I just use this to dial the seal packs in and out. So if you have the ability to drill those holes, then honestly the little retainer thing is not a problem. It won't bother you. This makes things a lot easier. You just need something. Even if you just put a shock shaft in it, you have to have something through the retainer when you punch it. Otherwise, the punch will... It is not high-grade aluminum, and it is very thin. It's on a video. Don't remember it. The video, I think that's tomorrow. Let me look. Let me look at YT Studio. I think it's tomorrow. I use a bamboo skewer to unscrew the retaining ring. I ask in the video, how are people getting this thing out? Yeah, fake DravTex is tomorrow. Yeah. Updated fake dravs. I've been calling them oily chavs, so the oily chavs is tomorrow. It's covered, I think. The bamboo skewer thing is a pretty good idea. Have you seen the new Team K&K Boss shocks with the adjustable offset top round end? Yes, I have. Dan, whatever you do, don't look into how much they cost. And when I say how much they cost, I mean 11. I mean all inclusive, like the shocks, the springs, the retainers, the whole thing. A full set of those K&Ks is going to set you back about $135. I'm sure they are well made, but holy moly, that is bold. That is a bold price point. Really bold, because there is definitely 100%, undoubtedly, without question, there is a point of diminishing returns when it comes to things like shocks, when it comes to everything, but shocks in particular, because if that wasn't the case, we would all be running Velvets or Chronics or what have you. Pricing your shock above the price of DravTex is, I would classify that as a certifiably lofty ambition. I now have to find 2 6mm plastic spacers, which I did not find before I turned on the camera. It might be easier to just dig them out of my spacer bin, honestly. Yeah, the bamboo skewer, I had never... That's good. That's a good idea. Stick it right down the hole in the front. Yeah. Smart. Smart. Pen spring the front shock's good or bad idea? I don't like it. Why not just cut a slot in it for a flat blade? You got to get it out first. What's the problem with the cartridge? You can't adjust how tight it is or what? Oh, no. The cartridge, the thing is... All right, I can show you. So we can show you on one of these, because I can just put it right back together. So as the shock comes in the package, right, because they don't use notched cups, you got to take this off to get to the bottom. You dial this off, and then you get this out, right? So with the cartridge, there's no mechanism to get it out, especially if the shock shaft is installed like it is now. It's just smooth. So you have to disassemble it, and then shoving a bamboo skewer in it is a great idea, and then just turn it out that way. I'm assuming that he reinstalls them with the bamboo skewer as well. But like I say, I just drill a hole there and a hole there, and then I use my snap ring pliers. And with the snap ring pliers, I can also set the tension on the pack. Oh. This must have been the leaky one. Yeah, it is. There's nothing right there. Absolutely nothing. And then we get into oil. Voop. What is that little? Yeah, is that thinner? Does that look thinner to anybody else right there? We are paying for not top quality, man. When you get something cheaper, oh my God, it's leaking so much. I don't think that little cap is seated at all. When you save money, There's usually a reason. And we know. We don't all want to spend DravTech money on every rig. I can't afford DravTech money on every rig, so I got a bunch of these. Yeah, I saw those and blacked out. Oh, it is definitely Chinesium grade aluminum. 100%. It is. It isn't even butter soft. It's powder soft. I put that back together just out of a force of habit, even though I'm just going to have to take it apart again when I go to build them. Yeah, Dan is correct. Those the K&Ks, they don't come with the collar piece. That is sold separately. I laud it because it is nice to see innovation in whatever form that it comes in, but at the same time, holy cats and cows, that is $135 for a set of shocks is expensivo. So the problem with the cartridge is actually moving it in and out. So if you fix that, it's a good shot. Oh yeah, and I wasn't going to take that one apart and get even greasier. They come with pistons. They come with pistons. More spoilers for those who aren't waiting for tomorrow. So watch this right here. Okay, see that speed? Okay, get an idea of that speed. This is Sunday's video, by the way. And then watch in the rear. See that? Oh, see that control on the damp? Ooh. Yeah. They come with pistons. They are not drilled. They are slotted, but similar to a Traxxas piston. 4 slots. Those are all filled with... I can smell the mineral oil. I feel like I'm in a Harbor Freight. They are all filled with 900 CST, 70 weight. 70 weight seems to be a pretty good starting point. You will notice that the front has got a quicker drop. We get that a little quicker, and the rear comes down a little slower. I put the Injora brass rings in here. These are kind of his, for the moment, everyday wheels. These weigh like 370 grams a piece. So the fact that those shocks can slow those things down is fair deal, fair good for you. Have you tested the 2-mod shocks on Amazon? I have not. And the oil in those shocks feels like vegetable oil. Yeah, it really does. It feels slightly above water weight, but from having to rebuild hydraulic brakes on bikes, that is mineral oil. That is mineral oil. Which some of the mineral oils are about 7 weight. That seems about right. Like most any product you'll have in your household is going to be thicker. Syrup, honey, anything. 7 weight is very thin. Just digging. I'm just digging. Trying to find 2 6mm spacers because I was looking through the box and I don't see any bag in here that specifically has spacers in it. In there. No. Whoa. Wait. I think I found them. I quite enjoy the challenge of fettling cheap shocks and making them good. Yeah, these give you a good start. And what I was asking myself the whole time, because I knew I had incepted myself into doing it before it had even started to happen, was I replaced the shocks that were on Wolverine, which are these, with shocks of identical length, and this is with Traxxas pistons and 40 weight. So I wanted to see if the springs were different. Again, speaking to the issues of the quality of the machine work, do you see the bulge? See a little rib right there? The metal of the wall is, and you can also see a little divot right there. That's why I keep trying to tell people, you can make a chav, you can make these shocks work respectably well. They're probably fine for what we're using them for, but they are not DravTechs. They're just not. They are significantly cheaper, and that is certainly a motivator. But everything about the DravTech is done better. That's not a point of contention, I don't think. So I would love to be able to afford the fancy stuff for everything, but I can't. Cross almost got me again. Oh, look at that. Do you see how the one hole is slightly bigger than the other? I know for certain I would have installed those incorrectly. I think that one was being installed incorrectly. Use Shimano hydraulic brake fluid in most of my shocks. Have gallons of the stuff, and it seems pretty good so far. You know what? If it works and it ain't eating the seals, then it's good to go. I have 2 disc brake bikes. One is mineral oil Tektro, which I prefer, and the other is a SRAM system. And the SRAM system uses, was it .5? The stuff for motorcycles. It's amazing when first set up, but boy, does it fall off over time. You can feel the water building up in the system. I'm not a huge fan of building shocks, but I am less of a fan of building and bleeding disc brake systems. It is not a joyful noise. The good old fake drives are getting out of hand with quality control, and you don't know if they come with the cartridge or clip. Knowing how to fix the cartridge fixes a lot of problems, agreed. Yeah, but they are, as they say, all over the board. They really are. I spent over an hour to get the shocks to work right, yeah. Mineral oil, don't use dot fluid as they are corrosive, yeah, for sure. But unless we're still, I mean, for this stuff, yeah, for sure. Don't use brake fluid unless you're trying to get paint off of something. And in that case, use a paint stripper. Don't use dot fluid. But SRAM is dot. That's how it works. So I buy Motul, and that's the other crazy part about it. It's cheaper for me to buy Motul brake fluid, which has a boiling point of like 500 degrees or something. It's cheaper to buy that than it is to buy mineral oil. That makes sense, right? I'm here. I got my daughter to nap. Now it's you'll get to a point where they get so big it's hard to get them to nap. And sometimes you can tell they need a nap. Sometimes I need a nap. Most of my naps are involuntary, though. Fall asleep sitting up in a chair. Wake up, my hands have gone numb. Life is great. Oh, HBO TO3 is heading to dinner, which is what? It's like 9:30 in Spain right now. Is that about right? 8:30, 9:30, 10:30? Spain. The OG Associated Pistons are a fantastic fit. Yes, if you can still find them. I still have... Where's my drawer? Where's my drawer? I have a fair decent amount, including in there, I've got some of the RPM dual so that you can set them up by flipping the piston. You can make them compress faster and release slower or vice versa. But that's not fun to fiddle with at all. One of my most satisfying ever was sealing SCX 10.3 shocks and making them work. Yeah. So you might as well just build the truck on cam. What truck? This one? That's kind of what I'm doing. 10:30. Yeah. I usually nod off watching YouTube. Takes several attempts to watch a video sometimes. That is comforting to know, because I fall asleep watching YouTube videos all the time, and the only way I know how long I've been asleep is by going back and looking at the watch history. Someone suggested pull the little guys through with pliers. I think it's going to have to be heat gun. Heat gun is the only way these things are going to go through. I'm going to have to soften them up because they are significantly smaller than the holes. There's no way I can do that. Everything about this vehicle so far has been basically counterintuitive to how I think it would work. Stop using SRAM on downhill and fat bikes. Quit racing to do RC7 build synth gear. Yeah, it is way safer. I agree with that. You know where I can get those bent upper links like you had on Lolo? Those came from I think it was the Injora skid forward. I think they're from the Injora skid forward. I had them sitting in a bin forever, and they wouldn't fit on anything. And then when I tried to put Lolo together in that too low, high low, is it a high low chassis? When I was putting them in that high low, it was the only thing that would fit. Yeah, I would never have guessed. Wait, what? Good Lord. This thing is going to weigh a metric ton when it's done. No spacers or anything? Just, oh yeah, there are brackets. I'm missing pieces. This thing truly is. This is not an RC car. This is just a model that can move. And there's so many bags. There's so many bags. I wish Losi would make an 8-shock for crawlers. Agreed. 100%. I ran the RPM 2-stage pistons with progressive piggyback shock reservoirs back in the day on a 10 GT. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it out of the drawer. I think it's in this drawer. Nope, that's the 100 plus. I'm just don't mind me. Here's a blast. Here's a blast from your past. Not only that, you might recognize that color. That's the unobtainium. I need to take these apart. These are the event. One might ask, one who hasn't been at this a while might ask, where do the seals go? And then the other people remember the associated insertion tool, a plastic tool that you built the whole cartridge with the retaining clip and then did it go click and shove the whole thing in together and hope that you did it right, that you got a solid click, because if you didn't get a solid click, it would just self-disassemble on the inside of the shock. These are, I'm quite sure that these aren't a thing that exists anymore. I've seen a lot of vestigial reservoirs. These are real deal. Somewhere I still have the build card for these, actually progressive suspension, made by Progressive Suspension, and boy, do they ever work. Boy, do they ever work. I'd been wondering if the threading is the same as the threading on Elements. Put some reservoirs on some Element shocks, because I don't have 4 of the same length in old associated shocks. Nor do I even think I have the old tool to build them. I might. There are entirely too many bags for this cross. There are so many. And everything. It's a very dicey noise. Hey! 5 more. So many shock clips. Yes. Somewhere I have a huge drawer of them around here somewhere. I apparently forgot to put the motor mounting brackets onto the gearbox because I had just skipped over that whole section, as you don't have to build the gearbox. The gearbox comes assembled when you open up the crossbox. And then here we are again. Coming back around. Nobody left dismembered. Memberings for everyone. That's the thing. Associated / Element, they could just, hey, 5 more. Oh, there's going to be, the saw blade is going to have one really big tooth all of a sudden. Picking up 15 members in one day. Well, and man, those gift memberships are dodging an assumption. It's like the only gray name on here. Have you ever had a jerky fusion? I feel the overwhelming urge to make like a Jamaican food joke, but I have not. Usually when somebody tells me that their fusion is acting a fool, it is something, either it is uncalibrated, they calibrated it with their radio not reversed, so they need to reverse the rotation direction of the fusion. First they need to calibrate and then reverse the rotation direction with the card. I've never yet had a fusion act weird once set up. My phone is so hot it won't 5G. Awesome. But yeah, no, in operation, every fusion I've had so far has been good. I'm sure there are bad ones out there. It just appears that when it comes to QC, Hobbywing is doing it right. Because they have to sell a lot of fusions. I don't know why I was doing this manually. I just want to pay for a membership and technology won't let me. And it's worse because when I try to go tell people how to do it, like I can't see where the stuff is because I'm on premium. I run the channel. I can tend to find it on other. You know what? Let's just set this guy here. He's nearby. There. Just something to look at. Wait. There. We'll have him give me a little bit more room. All right. So this is the front. Honestly, I never would have guessed what direction this thing goes. Oh man. This thing's going to sound like a cement mixer. Did he just give out 5 more? Or is that the same one? No, he just gave out 5 more. Now we're going to have we're really going to have a spike. Only seen one fusion setup that went nuts, but that was because a car out there had a lipo fire. Redid the settings and then it was fine. Yeah. Did that one get Pizza and Nitro, Bjorn Larson, A. Ron, Mike Bennett, James Garcia Garage? Man. I'm starting to wonder if An Assumption doesn't have accept gifts turned on, because going 0 for 20 is kind of wild. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yes? Yes. There's 2 big holes and then a little hole. This thing's going to get real heavy all of a sudden. I had no idea the motor was going to face backwards. Did it to anyone else? Did that feel like that was threading in forever? It's only an M3x8, and it felt like we were on the job. Oh, I'm genuinely excited because this thing is going to be so heavy. It's going to be so heavy. And then that goes to the top with 219s. Which one are 219s? M3x4. Tiny. What KV outrunner would you say? If you were buying an outrunner for a Capra axle with a simple gearbox, what KV outrunner would you say? I would still sit about 1800. Ms. Direction runs a 1700, but she also runs a tire over 5 inches tall. So if your tire is going to get bigger, like if you're going to run something like if you're going to run a class 3 size, you might want to go a little lower, but 1800 is pretty safe. 1800, 1850, right around there should be fine. You should be able to gear a little bit one way or the other to get it to accommodate your style and your likings. All right, so that there is it on? No. Okay, I've missed another step. At no point does it show this servo with a horn on it. I think what I'm going to have to do. I haven't seen a horn. If this thing came with horns, I haven't seen them. Oh, was I missing the thing? What's the advantage of those offset shock caps? So the way I'm using them on him is I run the offset shock caps like this, so it's laying his shocks down a little more. It's also bringing the ride height down. The offsets drop the overall height. These are 115s. They sit in on him at about 108. So they drop the shocks about 7 millimeters, and then it lays the shock down just like, that much. That X number of degrees, that many degrees. So it makes the effective rate of the spring a little bit softer. So I was going for those two benefits. The fact that they were oil slick, I know some people hate the oil slick. They don't embrace their inner 90s enough. But it is kind of weird that the only color that the offset with the bits come in is the oil slick. You would think that they would have started with the other colors first. Like black. You would think that in black or silver, you would be able to get this exact shock. But we also don't know how many different factories they're coming out of, so there's always that. That is the HD6. Yes, this is the HD6. I think a Fusion would fit this nicely. Yeah, 100%. If we're talking about this. Yes, HD6. Is an 1800 Outrunner different from, say, an 1800 SE? Not particularly. They will have a different. Wait, what does this look like? That's crazy. That looks like a painting. We've got a real strange. If we're looking at the spiral, the golden spiral, this is a very strange layout of that painting. They will have a real different power delivery. What are your go-to wheel spacers hex? Whatever the cheapest ones I can get that fit. That said, Triol hexes have been the nicest ones. So I would honestly say that it's probably better to just spend a little bit of extra money and get the Triol ones, because I have gotten more than one set of Amazon brass cheap hexes that you've got to shimmy the wheel off. The wheel should slide on and slide off. And the Triol ones are good. Who are the SSD? SSD are nice. Any name brand you're going to be good with. In terms of like a stock hex, I think the Vanquish ones are probably the best ones. Like, they do work well. Yes, as pointed out, if you buy these, 2 sets of offset caps from Deluxe is like $30. And this is like $40 with the springs and the cups and the bodies and the everything. So even after you put in the money to replace all the seals, you're at like $45 all in for a full set, which is pretty good. What I'm wondering about the Trepidor Maxxis G8 4.9s. They are on one of the builds that's right over there. They're on a Zoku build with the bug body on it, which, yes, needs repainted. I know. There's like 10 or 12 bodies in here that need to be painted. They're okay. They're not the outright best. That comes down to G8, and I think a little bit contributing to that is 20 millimeter horn not included. That's what I needed to say. G8 is just not the best, and the TREP itself is not. Is unfortunately not the best. Something about TREPs. Okay, that's basically 19. As long as it'll clear, we're not worried about it. So do we do this the irresponsible way? I feel like we do. So what you want to do is go. No, we can't. Okay. Who do we got? Oh, I can reach right there. We need to you know what? I'm glad you're here. You're helping me out. We need to center this servo so I can get a horn on it. I don't even know what channel to set it to. Let's put it to 4. Oh. Helps to have the right model on. Oh. Now, let's go into the menu and find out what channel 4 is set to. It's off. Let's set Block D. And that'll do. We need it. Okay. It's going to go like that. So it's going to go like that. So that'll be all the way at one end. Now we need something where it's centered. I really need a 3-position switch. I find it interesting that Radio Link's channel 3 is the VR knob. I mean, by default, you can put channel 3 to whatever you want. And also, channel 3 is for 4-wheel steer. Yeah, because then you put another wheel on it, and then you can 4-wheel steer from right here. It's a toss-up for me, 80s or 90s. It's 90s. The music was better, at least. Were you able to use the standard springs on those shocks? Those are the springs that came with the shocks. Direct power servo for a TRX4. Agreed on G8. Okay. Be different, fit a bell crank. You need the oil slick drive slams now. They're like $40. That's crazy. Just to get scratched up. Yeah, all of my 4-wheel steer rigs, I'll use RC4s, and what I usually do is take an old wheel and drill a hole out and then like hot glue it over this, and then just use a wheel to steer it. I don't have any 4-wheel steer radios that are in reasonably close arm's reach. So I'm going to say, like that. Let's not bolt it on backwards. That's all the way. Oh. I'm terrified to hit this and it be too far over to one side and I strip out a brand new horn. But if that is the throw that's all the way, so that okay, that should be like that. There we go. A little bit more. Yeah, that's about right. That's pretty good. That way, when we jork it, yoink, we know that should be right about in the middle. We will slap that on there. Oh, don't run over the keyboard. We need that. Let's see if we can just That's pretty good. We'll park it. Put the parking brake on. Can't leave it on all day. Yeah, I should be 3D printing knobs. What do you replace the shocks with to make them better? What do I replace? Oh, on the shocks to make them better. Ah. I don't want to just say, go watch the video. So what I will say instead is you will need to buy yourself 2 packs of Traxxas 2362. Am I getting that right? Or am I transposing? 2362 is the seal pack. 2669 are the pistons. In most of the fake DravTechs, like if they're these, the regular looking ones, the oil slicks, these pistons work. But in most of them, you're going to have to replace the pistons. Most of them don't come with pistons. So you're going to use a Traxxas 2669s and the seals. And you're just replacing all the seals with the Traxxas seals and the pistons with the Traxxas pistons. Sometimes you also have to replace the shafts with the Traxxas shafts. But these shafts seem fine. The shafts in the 115 seemed fine. As we've mentioned, quality control is well and truly all over the place. My Class 2 rig used both Predator and G8 trenchers because when I bought trenchers, they only had 1 pair of Predator, so I got them in a pair of G8. So now I run G8 in the rear and Predators in the front. Yeah, it's like it's running different inserts. You're running softs in the front. Okay. That screw does not work. I have to remember, what I keep having to tell myself is whatever I do, don't assemble these wheels with the included cross tires because there's Proline grunts over there. Okay, I cannot get any screw to thread into this servo now. So, we make it happen. Like I said, we weren't going to get a lot done today. I'm sure that if Mr. Spain was here, he would have the active screw count going, and I think we've gotten like, well, we're double digits. I have to have at least 10 screws in this thing at this point. We're just going to run a tap here. That was a lot of resistance. There should not have been that much resistance. Hey, Mike Cross got a new car. Do you use extended hexes on any of your rigs, or do you go for longer axles instead? Yes, I do on a couple. The one that pops most quickly to mind is Ms. Direction. Ms. Direction is running, I think she's running this length of these, the long hexes, the ones that require you to use this proprietary, the 8mm nut, so that the nut stud that threads onto the axle. I am using those in a couple places. I don't like to go above about that. I think these are 15mm. 15. These are the 20s. I don't go beyond the 20s. Beyond that, you're putting way too much stress on the bearing, and at that point, you just put Capras on it, you know. But I have these on a set of Element axles, which are really narrow. They're only 185s, so she's still only at like 225 with those on it, and a Capra axle is like right about, oh geez, about 240 or so. Too wide for what I would want because she's a Capra cage, but I like the anyway. Up to about 20, I will use those in the I think they do 9s, 12s, 15s, 20s. Up to the 20s. I know I sent you tires. Did I send you wheels as well, or do I need to order some? The wheels that it comes with actually look pretty good. They are quite heavy. The inner ring is metal. They're metal inside and out. They use big old metal, like this bag. Okay, so to give you an idea, We can divide by 6. Here's all the hardware and everything still in there. Look at the size of the inner hubs. They're huge. Okay, so they're going to need to be painted, obviously. We'll go to grams for the rest of the planet. Yeah, 6 wheels is 700 grams. So no, I don't think these need to be removed. I think these cross wheels are just fine. If you want to replace them, I will gladly take these. I would put these on Jolly Green in a hot second. So that is entirely up to Osmium level channel supporter Shaker MT. I think these will be fine. If you want to run something else, I'm not going to tell you not to. They do even come, they give you a fake spare. Like this one is all plastic and it actually bolts together differently. It's a completely different wheel. It just looks the same. But I was just going to use one of these, maybe sand the cross off because it looks close enough to a grunt that I don't think anyone would ask any questions if that was the spare. What did Bonita Creek miss? Not much. I have a pair of those 10mm extenders on my Gatekeeper that look nice. Yeah, they work fine. You can get them aluminum and brass. Using the 15mm with the 8mm on a few cars. If I need more than 15, better to change the axles. Yeah, absolutely. I think you can go, you can get away with up to 20s, but like if you're running a deep offset wheel like this, that's already 10mm right there per side. So if you're running that and 20s, that's 30mm wider per side. You might as well get a wider axle. But yeah, we're on roughly the same page. I've lost the thing with the servos. There it is. So I used to on the Canyon wish list, I had servo horns, and I had a couple people send me servo horns, which is super nice, because I was going through them at a rate that I considered irresponsible, and then for whatever reason, maybe it's that it's exceptionally rare for me to drive the same rig 2 drives in a row. Usually it's one rig and then another rig and then another rig. But I've just stopped stripping out servo horns. I took out one last month, like immediately. Like put the servo horn in, didn't do what I'm doing right now, neglected to put these on. The very first rock that the vehicle touched, the wheels went like this and the horn just went and just hollowed it out round. That's not the horn's fault. That's my fault. But because so many people have sent them in and I've bought so many, these are basically all the same. Oh, and then, you know, you buy servos and you get these ones that say 25T on them. Got a couple loose gold ones in there. All the same. Because I keep finding ones that need like holes in different places, or the guys that run the big super long ones like that. I've got a replacement for him. I have a blue one. I just found it that I'd shortened down to the exact length he's running. So he's going to have a shiny blue one. But I forgot to do it then. I'll forget to do it again. Only one car has 20mm extenders. 8th scale Mark I Ford Escort rally car. Flipped it at 57 miles an hour and bent all 4 axles. Yeah. What gearbox is that? This is the gearbox for the Cross HC6. Okay, what did I say? I said 700 grams for 4 wheels. That gearbox with a rail on it is 770 grams. So the gearbox and 2 rails is gonna be, I don't know if I can get this on here, 859. The rear axle assembly is again 725 grams. Front axle with leafs, 306. We're already past 2 kilos and there's no vehicle here yet. This thing is going to be, it's going to be so heavy. It's going to be so heavy. But it's going to be a 6x, so it's not even going to need really beefy foams because the weight's going to be spread out so much. Oh, Jimbo heading to bed? Yes, yes. Oh, where are we at? We're about 2 hours in. Okay, we can fill the frame out again. We're gonna move this guy. We're gonna fill the frame out. So, okay, this isn't explicitly Crawlympics related. All right, it's not. It just happens to be. You've seen we've done one. I did the quick view on the FJ40, and I'm pretty much smitten with the FJ40. So I am moving forward with that. We are also building the Willies on Rift axles. So we've got some FMS. So FMS in. Unfortunate for some, maybe fortunate for others. FMS out. So, some will know him. Randall the Atlas, sitting a little high because all of his electronics are pulled. We're going to make an effort to give that away today. And he has a drive shaft in the bed. There is a part of this that is DIY. The drive shaft on this side, oh, you can even see it perfectly. See it right there? See that empty hole? The pin has slipped out in the universal, and he is not drivable in his current configuration. So, what does he come with? This is a DIY giveaway. You have to install your own replacement stub axle. And I believe in the newer ones, I believe they've fixed the problem because this pin is centered very well. So, if you get this and you take it home, you're not going to be able to drive it because you're going to have to replace that. You're going to have to replace that drive shaft first. I thought about doing it for about a second, and then I was like, no, never mind. Someone else can do that. Oh, wow, the T case is tight like a tiger in there. 11,219. Yeah, that's real tiny ones. I'll at least get the two rails put together. That's what the cutout is for. A little cutout in the chassis rails for the servo horn. Look at that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm gonna let you think on it. I'm not going to tell you right now what we're going to do to give it away. It's pretty simple, but I'm only going to give everybody one guess. The pin slipped out on my Rhino Capra front axle universal joint and sheared the half shaft. Yeah, it'll do that. It'll do that. Best inserts for a 15-pound rig. I would say that you're right there for Injora Reds. You might be able to use Injora Reds. You'd be the only person I can think of that could use Injora Reds, but somebody's got to be able to use them. Because those things are good for, like, what did they say? 8 kilos? Good up to 8 kilos? You might still have to cut some ribs out of Injora Reds. I have a set here that I bought out of curiosity. Most of that curiosity being, will I ever even find something heavy enough to fit them to? Because they're truly unbelievable when you try to squeeze one side. Like when you see your whole forearm flex, you know you're doing something. Whereas greens, you can, like, literally, they have to be 5 times the stiffness. That's what I would go with. Or, run class 1s. In my boom racing BRX 90 axles on a class 1 pin of the universals has half broken off, so should I order a replacement? But I've driven it with 2 years with a pin broken. Yeah. Rocket. I remember that. Yeah. I hadn't realized that it had slipped out that far. So he did his run in Crawlympics with that pin like all the way out. We are quite fortunate that that just didn't just shear off at one point. I have no idea how to attach that. Oh, I see. I see now. Okay. So it goes like that. Oh, okay. I can do that. This is why, in my mind, the HC6 is too much like a model and a puzzle had a baby. It is, in my estimation, it is a terrible subject for like a video build because you can't get anywhere on the build. It would legitimately take like 30 hours to build this. Even if you were just not being distracted by the chat and like just working on it, you have to consult the manual like boom, 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 boom. It's like building IKEA furniture for someone who's never built IKEA furniture before. They have some steps in there that make you go, what? Yeah, this. When you have to leaf back and consult 8 pages earlier, it kind of gives you this sense where you're like, what did I do? What have I done? So Paul's getting a little bit of bag out on a 16.5-pound truck. There you go. I'm drawing up chassis design for my next true homemade aluminum frame and using an old T-case and motor mount from Red Cat Ascent. Perfect. Should work. I have mostly 10-pound and up rigs. I have one that's over 10 pounds. Have you ever used leaf springs on your crawler course? Yeah. Old Blues leafs. Don't we have 2 leafs? The sawback was leafs. No, the fleet has 1 leaf vehicle. I want to build another one. I want to build a proper leaf vehicle. I would honestly not be opposed to putting leafs under the FJ40. I wouldn't. Someone had talked to me about it, and I tried to poo-poo it immediately, but you know what? I'm kind of changing my mind. If someone on the Discord can drop the link to how to leaf the FMS FJ40 without spending a bajillion pesos, I would be anxious to see that, because I think I just decided right now. I think literally in this moment I was like, you know what? FJ40 on leafs, I'm good with it. Are they to me high lift rails? No, these are cross HC6 rails. Can you make a high trail a decent crawler without making it lower? I love how it looks. Antos, I've seen a bunch of people on Facebook just taking their high trails and just putting 475s on them. They kind of look more like real world lifted trucks, and dropping that height, going from this. So if I can get it. Those are packed in there real tight. Going from this, which is what comes on a high trail, to what comes on a regular sport, that right there is going to lower your CG 15 millimeters. Just right off the bat. And this is a 465. So most folks are honestly going with 475s like that. So still going to drop your CG 12, 13, 14 millimeters. It's going to make it a little more, if you're still on stock electronics, it's going to turn a lot easier. Yeah, there are definite advantages. A lot of us, I am especially guilty of this, we'll just throw the biggest tire that we can on whatever. Performance, bigger is better, right? Not always. So yeah, the other option, as Bonita Creek says, is just throw a bunch of brass at it. That was an obstacle like a bridge. Oh, you mean full-size leaf springs. Tell me where to get some. Are you going to leaf the Willys build? Absolutely not. No, the Willys is going to go long travel, even if I have to cut into the bed, he's going to run at least 90 millimeter shocks, maybe hundreds if I can get him on there. No, I want like huge articulation. The Willys is going for the maximum amount of performance that I can get with that body on the top of it, which is kind of in the future what I would like to do with the old Defender body, the green Defender body. My dream would be to put MOA under the Defender, just because I think it would be funny. But motor on axle is expensive. It's very expensive. We're going to bolt this together, and I'm going to make mental notes to myself. And those mental notes go something like, hey, don't forget to not energize that channel until you've set the endpoints down to like 5% each way. 2.5 leaf spring tracks. Junkyard. Junkyards might work different out there. Junkyards out here, finding a leaf sprung vehicle in a junkyard in Southern California would be like finding a unicorn. Maybe if there's a junkyard that deals specifically with trucks, but around here, junkyards are filled with Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys, and all of the Nissans. That's what's in junkyards, because that's what everybody drives, and in the theme of Nissans, that's what everybody wrecks. I like that when they do a 2-speed shifter like this one, that it has springs in both directions. I love that, because then it's going to auto center. Throwing brass at things is how a friend ended up with a 12.5-pound TRX4. I've watched, Paul, I've watched the guy do the thing where he uses the clock springs out of like pull starts for lawnmowers and builds leafs out of those. It doesn't look overwhelmingly complex. Yeah, that, for something as massive as this, they have a lot of room to work with, but that 2-speed setup is pretty elegant. That is something that is going to be phenomenally easy to set the endpoints on, especially the Altima. The Altima, if there's any cyclists in the chat, they can tell you the deadliest car on the world is the Nissan Altima, because for whatever reason, the people piloting Nissan Altimas, they just don't care anymore. They just don't appear to care anymore. And I've almost been run off the road by Nissan Altimas, and it wasn't as if that person was like seeking me out and trying to run me down. I don't think that's what was happening at all. I think that it's endemic to Nissans. It's something about Nissans. Is that centered? No. Long side, short side? I can't tell. I can't tell. I should put the T-case in it first. If I can find it. There are an amount of parts in that box greater than the amount of parts to build an entire vehicle. No exaggeration whatsoever. Well, at least I can't mess this up. I mean, I can. But I'm going to try not to. Have you considered building a front link leaf rear? Yeah, I have. I have. Because that's like what? That's basically every Chevy pickup for 30 years. Link front, leaf rear. If postage to the US was cheaper, I got through 3 sets of leaf springs on my old Hilux. Yeah, sending a leaf spring would have to be violently expensive. If we're talking about real leaf springs, which I assume we still are. I'm going to experiment. Order a cheap Amazon skid, do some drilling and cutting, and put a 3-gear on a TRX4. Yeah. I don't know why there are not more 3-gear mounting options or adapters or skids to put 3 gears in a TRX4. I don't understand why. Are you going to do a this for that for axles, portal versus non-portal, F9 versus F10? How would I do that? How would I do that? I don't think, and this is, oh, the shaft only goes one way, so it has to fit one way. I have these theories, and going in deeper into that would be helpful to proving or disproving my theory that you can't just cheat your way in, basically, which is, I think that some vehicles, their geometry is better served by them being portaled, and I think some vehicles' geometry is better served by having straight axles. I can't find, what is that screw? M2.5 by 6 by 4. That's got to be those. But yeah, that's it. Like basically, here's what I think. When you take a Phoenix, let's go with a Phoenix, because you can buy a Phoenix that has no other changes except one comes on straights and one comes on portals. In my experience, the portal one works better. The straight, there's just something. I don't know if it's the overall loss of gear reduction. I don't know what it is. I have a TRX4 on straight axles, and it's fun, but I wouldn't consider it in any way superior to a TRX4 on TRX4 axles. The fleet is now almost split down the middle. I'm pretty sure there's just a bit more in straight axles than there are in portals. But like if I did a build, like let's say we take like if we took an optic and we put portals on it, do I think it would be better on portals? I don't. I think its CG is already high and it kind of flops around. Vehicles with inherently low CGs can benefit more from portals because it'll improve their ground clearance and it won't totally kill their CG. I need to find 2 set screws in a bag, and it's probably genuinely just going to be easier to find some set screws in a drawer. Altima is the #1 choice for vehicular manslaughter. I believe it. Tesla drivers are terrible, but in Southern California, for the longest time, I would have said that it was the Prius, because those folks are slowly forgetting how to drive because their car is doing most of it for them. So the Tesla kind of falls under that same umbrella. But Altima drivers, honestly, it just seems like they care. Okay, regard for human life is no longer present. Like, they drive a Nissan now, and that's that. A cheap Nissan. There was the funniest thing on I think it was on an Instagram reel about how Nissan never set out to build a terrible car. It just kind of happened, right? And then the predatory lending practices of they're gonna finance people that should not have financing, and those people end up in Altimas. So you have people that really they've got nothing left to lose, and now they're driving an Altima and they just don't care about life. But yeah. Altimas and Maximus, the times that I always, when I came the closest to getting hit by a car, it was a Nissan every single time. Okay, I can't find the pins for this, so I'm trying to use a Traxxas pin, and I don't know if the Traxxas pins fit. Yeah, it should fit. We're just we're making live stream decisions. Okay, that wasn't it. You know why I can't find a pin? I think they just use a screw for these. At what step did they mount that on? Yeah, that's loose. Okay, got to go back about 20 steps here and find out how they're supposed to install those. M3 by 10 by 1. It's a big screw pin guy with a shoulder on it. In the 11402. I don't see that. Okay, I'm going to read chat here for a second. The twins, one portal, one straight. Oh, yes, IFS is more accurate. So we're going to see the HD6 out on the course in a couple of videos. Yeah, it's going to be a while. IFS with Leaf. Yeah, IFS with Leaf would be pretty good because I still have a fully built IFS 1 right here. So that would honestly be the best possible option. Leaf's on the back of just Element stock rails. My rear drive shaft is not straight. Should I buy a new stock Traxxas or a metal one from Amazon? The Traxxas ones are fine, but probably quicker and easier just to get a cut-to-length metal one. Are we talking about Tesla? Reverse mola would be a crazy thing to build. 4.7 and 5 in the front, 5.25 in the rear. You would need some serious overdrive somehow. Yeah. The ultimate drivers have crosshairs on their windshield for cyclists. Yes, they do. I work for Nissan. This is awesome. I don't know what happened with Nissan. Like there was never this problem with Nissan. What was the number? 14 something with a 1400. I have not seen it. There they are. It's an unmarked bag. It's an unmarked bag. Here's proof. Look. No sticker. Oh, God, the juke. Jesus. The juke. Someone else, I think... it was Regular Car Reviews. Regular Car Reviews said that he believes Nissan is doing a psychological experiment where they can try to make the worst car imaginable and still have people buy it. I mean, the same company gave us the Juke, gave us the Cube. His review of the Rogue is amazing. And we test drove a Nissan way back in the day. That doesn't make any sense to me. There it is. And ended up with a Toyota and have been Toyota ever since. Until Toyota does me wrong, I don't see any reason to drive anything else. Seems like every Ford is suicidal. We don't have that many Fords here, honestly. We have, like, if y'all are having problems with Teslas, you have no idea what it's like until you've been to Southern California. We have a number of Teslas that you would regard as unbelievable. They are everywhere. There's also, I would reckon, the overlap between the Tesla drivers and the Nissan drivers has to be very small. Small also to the point of non-existing. Because if you're in the position to buy one, you're definitely not in the position to buy the other one. Oh, what is the third four-wheel steer you have? I read a comment on the Crawl Olympics video, but can't remember which rig it is. No one noticed, including me. I did not omit a rig from Crawl Olympics on purpose. It happened in the worstly incidental way. And when I saw it, when I was like, because someone was asking questions about four-wheel steer. And I was like, oh, I have 3 of them. And then I looked over and I brought up the spreadsheet and was like, oh my God, his name's not on the spreadsheet. Can anyone Can anyone, if you did your homework, okay. That doesn't fit. Okay, that's not it. So they have button heads, and they're 2.5 by 6. I don't see those anywhere. Oh, there's a whole bag of them. We have not yet begun. Does anyone remember who got forgot? There we go. Bonita Creek got it right away. The third four-wheel steer rig in the fleet. Completely forgotten out of stage 1 of Crawlympics, Blue Sky High. Blue Sky High will be appearing on deadline. It's not like he was disqualified or anything. I didn't omit him for a reason. That's another reason. That's another part of the reason, though, that he is leaving. There's too many reasons, but another one of the reasons is that we need to keep that even number to start with. We don't really. It doesn't matter. But he has been replaced because I was just talking to someone on Instagram about how the optic, there's the problem with the optic. And the problem with the optic is, I call it the pretty pass. The FMS Willie Scaler gets a pretty pass all the way. It's gorgeous. It makes you 12 years old again. You're playing with your G.I. Joes in the yard, and the problems of your life have washed away. The FJ40 is close. It's very close. I think with leafs on it, it might even catch up. It might be that good enough to where you go, you know what? I forgot about how bad my tooth hurts. I forgot about how bad life is. So they get the pretty pass 100%. They are forgiven for having holes in their performance profiles. Okay? The optic is not pretty enough. This cannot be right. That doesn't even work. Were those brackets? No, that lines up perfectly. That doesn't fit. Oh my God. Remember when I said I couldn't do it wrong? Hubris! Are you not going to make a last Crawlympics video with Video Garage? I am definitely making a Crawlympics video with Visitor Garage. As I said in the end of the last one, it would just depend where that would fall in the sequence. Like, would it just be like a bonus episode that came up on a Saturday or something? Or would it be in the regular Wednesday place? Would be determined by filming schedule and where things landed. I did indeed manage to do this wrong. I said that there was no way I could get this upside down, and I 1,000% got it upside down. This is why the cross would take 40 hours. Your reflection on the Crawlympics, anything that surprised you? Honest to God, that run by Zombie at the very end of Crawlympics was like, I can't even. I didn't believe it. I still kind of don't believe it. Like, how did that rig run a 52 and change? Like, and Wolverine with a 48. I honestly, before he set out on the course the first time, I didn't think anybody was, no, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't think anybody was coming for Jake. I thought Jake was going to hold it from when he ran until it ended, and he held it until week 10. And then the other guys were in their positions until, I mean, Zombie was the last vehicle to run. ZO. And that 52.6, man, that is proper fast. And now, so we had already messed with the teeter, and now we get to mess with the rest of the course. Zombie is, and yes, Bill Truitt is smart enough to point out, he's smarter than I for sure, that Zombie is basically half broken. Like, nothing on Zombie is new or works to 100%. And there he was out there, just blasting around. He's like that guy that shows up and is like, this is hard? Because he ran it like it was not hard. Yeah, that looks, oh my God, it's so heavy. It's so heavy, and there's still no vehicle here yet. What does that go to? Because this is the output for the front axle, right? Right? Love the teeter carnage. The teeter finally got paid back because the teeter was just beating the living hell out of everybody until the Vanimal beat the teeter. And then, I mean, was there an advantage to the last week getting to run on new teeter? I don't know. So, I mean, it would be nice to have another, like, we should get the top guys in there. The guys that, like, Argenum, guys like Argenum and Jake should definitely get another go around with the course as it stands now. With also, I have far more experience now on Mavericks than I did before. I've only run around it about 250 times with a whole slew of vehicles. So there are, oh no, no, oh, my cross heading off for the weekend. I don't know if I have it in me. That's one step. That's so much. Oh, I have an excuse now. What am I painting? Paint what? Paint what? It just says paint. Oh, this little piece that's just invisible hashes. That needs to be painted. So I can't use that as an excuse. That part doesn't need to be installed right now, so I don't have an excuse to not paint it. Everything getting olive drab. Olive drab it up. We're gonna olive drab the whole thing. It's a deuce and a half. It's gonna be olive drab. Destroying the brain would be the theoretical death of Zombie. Yeah. If I make my tie rod and drag length the same length-ish on my Element Ecto, am I dreaming it will be better? There's a 10 millimeter difference. The closer that they can be to the same length, the less axle sway and bumps or potential bumpster you'll have. The goal is to get them as parallel as possible on this axis, which is going from the chassis to the axle, as parallel as possible this way when they're at rest. Now, obviously, that angle will change with the sweep of the servo, unless you have a lay-down servo. So lay-down servo will have more of an advantage. And then you want them as close to the same length as possible. Like this guy, we had to do a bunch of work to get them because, like, see, they are definitely not parallel. Definitely have some angle there. But they're not terrible. They're reasonably close. His axle sway is not bad. We have all the stuff flipped around. The upper link is on the correct side. Apparently, correct side according to me. We had some folk in the chat last week that disagreed with my opinion about placement of front upper link. And I will continue to stand by my statement on the placement of upper link because I think that it does make a difference. I could be wrong. I was looking around for the servo tray, and this thing is that's not what I was looking for. 1207s. M3 by 10s. We're going to use 12 of those. Oh, it's so many pieces. So many pieces. We'll get something. We'll get something done. I don't know what we'll get done. I've lost my mind in the bag of screws that I'm looking for. Never back down from your upper link position. People will think you're weak. I'm not going to back down because I did a little mini experiment. I looked at this guy. I had to have, in order to get the, so he's a roller. He's a true roller. But he does have a servo and he has a speed control converted to run the winch. So he has some electronics in him. But as I was pulling the electronics out, to get the motor out, you have to take the gearbox out. To get the gearbox out, you have to take the bed off and the body off and the middle truss part off. It's not a ton of screws, but you have to take about 15 screws off. Typical FMS stuff. So while I had all of that stuff off, I was looking at it, and when it comes from the factory, the upper link is on the other side. It's on this side, and this mount is flipped down the other way, so you get about that much travel, and your suspension bottoms out. So that's flipped. And both of the links are replaced, and I had to do a new link, and so it doesn't have a ton of suspension travel. Also, for those not familiar with this Atlas, I built shock towers in the front. I built those hoops, and I built these shock towers in the back. So he runs Incision S8E 80 millimeter all the way around. It really improved the performance of him. Then he's got his patina work on there, and he's a good boy. He's a good boy. So I was looking at that upper link, and I was like, what if I there are holes right here. There's a hole. Camera 2 is better for this. Camera 2 is better for this. There's a hole right there, and that hole, you can put a driver through, and you can undo that screw, and you can pull the upper link out. So, partly as a satisfaction of my own curiosity, I pulled that upper link out, and I flipped it over to the other side. Because as you can see right here, watch how much of the tire is outside the fender. Right? It grows by about, what is half the width of that lug? 2.5 millimeters. When I flip it over to the other side, it automatically introduces bump steer. Automatically. So the idea that you can't have just throw the link on there. No, you can't. But then we have to remember the other source, which is the front end on the VRD, and the 10 Pro is almost equally bad. With no triangulation in the upper links, you can flop the front end side to side as much as you want. So they clearly either don't understand front triangulation or are just willfully ignoring it. So I don't know. I don't know a great many things. But you know what I do know that I am fairly confident of? The side of the vehicle that you put your front upper link on in a 3-link setup is important. On a 1-1, the 3-link is the way you like it. Yeah, on 1-1, it is clear the drive shaft, I think is number one rule. Clear the drive shaft. If it's going to get near the drive shaft, that's not good. But some stuff doesn't translate. And that is another hill that I will die on, that some stuff does not translate. Because we have to deal with different things. We have to deal with a lot of the same things. The gravity is the same. We're all on Earth, last I checked. But some of the stuff does not directly translate. So some of the 1-1 stuff, you can use it as a guideline, but the transference to S10 scale it's not direct. And this vehicle has no bump steer with his upper link the way it is. And it would have bump steer if the upper was on the other side. Because it's about whether or not it's fighting the panhard and the drag link. Because the drag link is they're all dynamic, but the drag link is proper dynamic. It actually changes geometry through the stroke because it's moving on an arc. It's moving on an arc where the moving point of the arc is opposite from everyone else's moving point. It doesn't move at the axle. Everyone else moves at the axle. I would love to. Oh, he's heading to bed. Bunch of people heading off to sleep. It's going to be a small group for who has the opportunity to get this. I was going to wait a few minutes. I guess it doesn't really particularly matter. Put the whole family to bed at 11:30 so I'll catch about an hour of the live. 1/10 size and weight do not scale well. That's in far fewer words than what I used. That's basically what I'm getting at. Because something about, again, just spitballing numbers, but like a Fusion Pro fitted, like, say, Enduro SE, if scaled up to full size, would be 600 pounds and have 1,000 horsepower. So and also gravity. Gravity doesn't affect a 5-pound vehicle trying to do a thing the same way it affects a 5,000-pound vehicle trying to do a thing. They can't do the same things. You can watch motor-on-axle vehicles drive up flights of stairs. I've yet to see a rock crawler out in the world just take what would be just an 8-foot wall, perfectly vertical wall, and just scale up it. That's not a thing. Also, anyone trying Mount Tumbledore in real life would certainly be killed if their vehicle went end over end up at the top and they fell 80 feet straight down to the ground below. So yeah, some of it translates. Things like geometry are not as dependent on scale because geometry is geometry. We're just changing the magnitude. But I guess you have to understand the geometry to begin with. There's a reason that we don't have the Panhard mount one way and we don't degeneration exit and have the drag link go the other way. Because they will fight each other. There's nothing wrong with 1,000 horsepower as long as it's reliable. But I mean, it's more about, it doesn't even have to be 1,000. It's more about power to weight. Let's at least get a serious effort to play in this giveaway. There once was a time I needed to watch 31 vids. All right. Yes, there are no scale molecules. There you go. For the other guy, for the Corvair, we're going to do something a little more involved. Overdrive does not scale. By that, do you mean you can't run 30% overdrive on your car on the street? The back tires would be like, it would be like you had the handbrake partially pulled up all the way. Yeah, we get away with a lot. 11,216. Those are those tiny ones, aren't they? Yeah. How many? I have to put 26 of those screws in? Oh, I regret everything. I regret everything. Several EVs have almost that power and are super reliable daily drivers. Well, I mean, you know, the weakest part of any EV's performance evaluation is the person driving it. Because a person's going to try to do something that they probably shouldn't. Now all of a sudden there's just little empty... Hey, Mr. Spain can't give me no business because this bags means we're actually doing something. We've actually done something. I did forget what I was doing. Oh, I'm looking for a part. Found it. Number 268. Did you see that creation with hydraulic links? probably give it a go. Oh yeah, like I say, I've pointed out before, one of my favorite rock crawling videos ever is one of those like brick experiments or one of those channels where the guy made a rock crawler out of Legos. Well, not a rock crawler, a crawler out of Legos. And his obstacles were he was just stacking books on top of each other. And then he would slide a book over. And he built an axle configuration, again, not to scale, but that could move the axles in and out and up and down. And it could go, then it would wedge its top axle, and it would literally climb purely upside down and pull its front end over and pull it over. See, so I guess that actually does trend back more towards I said where I said some things do not scale, because you can't do that. The physics will stop you in the real world from trying to crawl your vehicle upside down. Exo had 200% overdrive on a Reef's gearbox rig because Florida man math. Yeah. You and I, we all know 200% is not a thing. You can double something and then say that it is 200%, but it's not. It's double. You can only have 100% of something. And we're also talking about, like, here's the one that I can't get my head around. Someone smarter than me will know. Someone smarter than me will know. All right. When we talk about underdrive, let's take an element, for instance, and we will use simple numbers, right? So it's not 11 point change and change. Let's say it's 12% underdrive. So based on this, for every 100 revolutions of the front tires, the rear tires have only turned 88 times. This is correct? Correct. But the vehicle is going to travel, theoretically, the distance of the speed of the front tires. So if their rollout is 8 inches, we will travel 800 inches. The rear tires can't travel. I'm not going to try to do 88 times 8. The rear tires aren't going to travel 12% less distance. They're just going to get dragged along behind. But my question is, when it comes to torque, if you were calling it torque split, is there less torque going to the back? Or is there more torque because there's more mechanical advantage? Because the rear end is geared lower. So that should be more torque. But the actual torque is determined by this, and then the gearbox. When the gearbox outputs it, is it outputting more torque to the rear because it has a smaller pinion and a bigger spur to the rear? I don't know. That seems like a level of math that I never got to. And then I sit and I think about that, and then I fall asleep in my chair. I kept saving all those Ziploc bags of all sizes, so many, before I started throwing them away. If anyone found them, they'd think I was dealing drugs. I keep, do I have one around here? I didn't throw them away. I threw them in the box. Okay. This one has stuff in it. I don't keep a bag smaller than that. I don't see any need to keep a bag. That's about, what, 2 inches by 3 inches? I don't keep any bags smaller than that. The ones that I tend to keep the most are the ones that are about, honestly, about this big. To where you can, like, put something in it. 704. There it is. 88 times 8. Any other sizes? Like this. When this bag is empty, I throw it away. That bag is gone. As never was. Oh, Casual Crawler saw that Lego one. Yes. Isn't that a 3-to-1 ratio front to rear? Oh, why am I trying to think about it? He had an AR-45 front and a TRX-4 rear. So that would be like a, yeah, that'd be roughly 3-to-1. Right about the 3-to-1. So every 3 revolutions of the front would revolve once. But the thing is, 100% overdrive means the rear tires aren't moving. 200% overdrive means that the front wheels are rotating at 100 RPM forward and the rear wheels are rotating at 100 RPM backward. That would be 200% overdrive. You would just spin in a circle. Oh, here comes the math again. Yeah. I believe that is the case, yes. Okay. More gearing, more torque, but slipping or being pulled by the front is not seen. But what about when we are... What about when we're like this? So now, this tire is taking almost all the weight. Almost all the weight. And this tire, 20% underdrive in here. This tire is making more torque to a percentage that I am not smart enough to determine. It is making more torque than everybody else. Because A, it's loaded, so it can actually try to make use of the torque that is being fed to it. And because of what's going on in the gearbox, there's actually just physically more torque because of the torque split. Is that helping us? See, these are the questions, because I keep having the question about which is better, okay? With this guy, it both has underdrive to the rear, but it doesn't actually have 20%. It has the 11 or whatever, so it has the 12% underdrive, but then the front is overdriven by 10%. So does it matter what gears are doing what? Does it matter if the front ones are spinning faster or if the rear ones are actually spinning slower? Because the smaller pinion and bigger spur is going to make more torque. Simple mechanical advantage. So this guy has 10% overdrive, roughly, and 12% underdrive, roughly. It actually comes out to 20.4. But what if we changed all that and we just put 20% underdrive in the rear alone and didn't overdrive the front? Is that going to be different? Can you even test that? Would you need to have two of them side by side to be able to differentiate between one and the other? Are they the same thing? I don't know. I categorize them as semi-unanswerables because I don't even know how to get to where we would answer them. 11207s. Again, with the 11207s. That can't be right. M3 by 10. Just kind of, I've gone to going things together by hand because it makes me feel like I can do less. Right behind the truss. So it looks like the body on this thing clips on as well. Neil Daniels just showing up as everybody's going to bed. Then why bring it up? No math. Because the unanswerables, I want somebody, and this is not a hard ask, I want somebody smarter than me to just tell me the answer. Do the front wheels drag the rear or do the rear wheels push the front? Well, with underdrive, the front is definitely dragging the rear. Because the front wheels are absolutely rotating faster. And when we were redoing Zoidberg to change out his gearbox and neglected to remember that he had wild overdrive gears in the front, he went out onto the course with 66% or thereabouts front overdrive. Actually, no. 66% net. But that was 36% overdrive in the front and 30% overdrive to the rear. He was drivable, but it was really noticeable. It was, let me put it this way, 66% is noticeable. The twins should test over and under. I'm trying to think of how I would do it, because they both run OD3s, so they are 18% underdrive in the box. Oh, I guess I could just do 10. I could put a 10% overdrive in one of them and a 10% underdrive in the other one. One would then be faster and one would be slower. Yes, one would be faster and one would be slower. All of the tractive forces on the most weighted tire. In the situation that was over here, yes. With overdrive, consider the rear to be 1. 100% would be 2 to 1. 200% would be 3 to 1. It just makes me squint. In either case, the front wheels are turning faster than the rears. Yeah. So my question in it is about the gearing. Because gearing, torque, is mechanical advantage. So, like, say you're on a bike, simple gear. You have a gear train. You have 2 cogs and a chain that goes around them. If the gear in the front is smaller and the gear in the back is bigger, it's much easier to pedal. So when you pedal at a fixed RPM, let's say 90, you'll be slower if the gear in the front is smaller and the gear in the back is bigger. But it will be easier. So I guess the question, I could have just answered it on a bicycle, which is find 2 gears in the gear train, like however many you have in the front and however many you have in the back, that should be the same final ratio, but one does it with, no, that's more efficient. The one that uses bigger gears to get to the same ratio will be more efficient, so the perceived exertion will be easier. That doesn't get me any closer to where I wanted to be. Love the night crawling video. I'm going to get out there more for sure. No difference. Vehicle percentage of overdrive, underdrive. It doesn't matter where it is for overall traction profile. Only the parts will see the torque difference. Okay. So it's harder on the rear, is the assumption. I wonder what filling a tire with spray foam would do. It would blow the tire up for sure. Even if you use that really low expanding foam, that stuff is gnarly. I'm 3x6x4. From the bottom? From the top? From the bottom. No, I guess I did not see that coming. I did not see the drive shaft. I mean, I did not see the servo mounting from the bottom. That is right, though, right? That's right. So I guess I'm just... So that shaft... Oh, so that shaft just doesn't do anything. I wonder if Cross uses that... Look at... I did not see the servo being that low. That caught me off guard a little bit. I keep... In my head, I guess I keep picturing the axles being closer to the rails than they are, when I think in reality they're going to be like 3 inches below the rails, and this thing is suddenly going to, like, when this thing is done, it's going to be like this high. Yeah, I did that. That part needs to be painted, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, there's that truss there. I think I've seen that one. It's in the box, though. Okay. We can do this one, then. Oh, no, it's right here. Sweet. Less walking is better. 216 is 2.5. That is that, right? Yeah. I'm going to feel better that when I put this back in a box and don't look at it for a few weeks or months, I'll feel like I accomplished something. I think a cricket trap would be easy to craft. If you can, I'm telling you, I will send you all out on a mission into the universe. You tell me what I need to do to build a cricket trap, and I'm going to start trapping crickets and selling them. Because that section where you were, that wasn't even a lot of crickets. That was a medium amount of crickets. Where the crickets get ridiculous is over on Hannah, Montana. There's a part that gets sun longer during the day, like it's western facing, kind of southwestern facing. At night, the quantity of crickets on it is like in every section of rock that big. Let's make it a square. That big. Every square that big has a cricket in it. I'm not even kidding. If you step down, I've run over them with the crawlers. They don't even try to get out of the way. You end up with smashed crickets in your lugs. Running tusks backwards on the rear with UD reduces traction until needed, like climbing. I mean, I assume so. Oh, Bonita Creek, I've seen that one. The guy has like, it looks like, they look like cantilever arms, so each wheel was mounted on its own thing and it could go like this. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen exactly what you're talking about. And compared to other 1-1 size things, it can do ludicrous stuff. But it can't do the stuff even that can do. And that is at best a scrawler. I'm talking about at least add lime. I'm telling you, as much as I borderline loathe the use of the phrase side hustle, I will sell some crickets on the open market. I'm really going to have to figure out how to get those bump stops shoved in there. I think heat gun will do it. It's not going to be comfortable, but I think it'll work. Introduce some tarantulas. I mean, I'm not an arachnophobe by nature, but at the same time, I don't want a spider that looks like he thinks he could take me. It always takes me back to that episode of The Simpsons. And then the tarantulas are going to start to overpopulate. So we're going to have to bring in something to kill the tarantulas or eat the tarantulas. And then we're going to have to bring out something to eat the thing that ate the tarantulas. And then I believe it ended with, didn't they have gorillas? And they just assumed that the gorillas would freeze to death during the winter. I don't want to begin that whole vicious cycle. This is ludicrous. I would like to state for the record, this whole process is insane. Okay, this goes like this. Why does it have a little... Okay. Yep. Got it right. Okay. But it has like it has attachments for mud flaps or something back here. I don't know what those are. And I saw them and they're metal. I think there they are. So odd the canyon doesn't have scorpions. I know, right? I'm not saying that I want scorpions, but I am saying that I'm surprised that they're not here. Oh. Real scale stuff. Real scale. Look at this little guy. That's paper thin. I don't know what he's for explicitly. Okay, that goes through there. regardless of anything else that happens. I already feel like I accomplished something. And it fits, it'll fit back in the box, which is just an added bonus. Why is this fighting me so much? Is it on upside down? Yeah, those holes don't line up at all. Is it upside down? No. Yeah, that hole doesn't line up at all. I don't know what's going on. There probably are there, you just haven't met them yet. I don't know how, I mean, I don't know how bad it could be. Are the lizards eating the crickets? We've had an absolute lizard explosion from the weather this year. More lizards than I've ever seen in my entire life. But those lizards don't have a chance. That doesn't look like it fits. Tell me that doesn't look like that's bowing out. That's the part. There can't be another part that looks like that. Did I over tighten these when I shouldn't have? I've gotten to the first point where oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that straightens out. Yeah, you would not have piles of crickets if there were scorpions. Yeah, that's what I thought. As I understand it, okay. Torque is the rotational force provided by the engine, so it is finite. Yes. Gearing is how you use the torque. Lower gearing makes things easier to turn, so it's more effective. Right. I'm there. I have some relatives in Arizona who learned the hard way why you don't bring a wild cactus in your house. I think just don't bring a wild cactus in your house. When the pond is built, put in some frog houses. You can make frog houses? You should sell lizards. I don't know if there's a bustling market for western fence lizards. I just figured out what I'm doing wrong, and it's because I'm an idiot. Got it. Wrong hole. It was bound to happen multiple times. Here we are. There are 2 rows of holes right next to each other. I was using the wrong one. You can't multiply torque, but you can increase my mechanical advantage. Yeah, right. I'm still with you. So in an underdrive scenario, the rear is turning more slowly, but the rear has more mechanical advantage. How does that work? It's just canceled out. It's just a net. That's kind of where I'm arriving at. That we can't trick it. We can't make more torque than the motor is making. Why? Why are you? Come on. This is the hardest part I've tried to put on. It is not cooperating. At all. I'm going to chalk it up to the screw. Frogs and lizards won't use houses. That's what I thought. They like to come in the house. No mosquito larvae in the pond. The water is way too active. And the inclusion, and too oxygenated. I think mosquitoes, they like it stagnant. They like water not moving. And the waterfall's got a UV filter on it. I don't know if it helps, but it appears to. Oh, I see. I found out where those M2s go. I found out where the M2s go. These little, it's got these little chiefs. I'm figuring things out. I'm figuring it out, guys. He's figuring it out. There's a YouTube channel of a guy in Australia that builds them and shows you how to catch crickets. Then I'm gonna watch it. I will build cricket traps, because every once in a while those dumb idiots do get in the house. It's infuriating. It's still all about the interface twixt gravity and traction. Yeah, we're all just trying to overcome gravity. Gravity kills, as they say. Whenever I go into a store and see cacti for sale, I think it's the stupidest thing. I just go outside and dig one up. The scorpions laid their eggs inside the cactus. When they hatched, they had a house full of baby scorpions. That is awesome. Where do those mozzies come from? What's a mozzie? Yeah, no thank you to scorpions. I used to catch them as a kid, but I kind of steer clear of them now. And it is, to me, still amazing that we don't have them. And as someone pointed out, I know we don't have them because they would they'd eat all them crickets. They're predatorial. Just like dragonflies. We do have dragonflies. I didn't think any made it out of the pond this year, but some did, because I've seen a couple of blue dragonflies up in the trees lately, hanging out. Oh, where do the mozzies come from? The mosquitoes? The mozzies come mostly from my neighbors, who happen to be my in-laws. They had an above-ground pool that was left untouched, unused, uncleaned, and abandoned for about 5 months. And if I were to say there were 2 million mosquito larvae in it, I would guess that that would be an underestimate. And I also know that the mosquitoes aren't coming out of my pond because my pond gave birth to dragonflies. And dragonflies are like the king predator. Okay, wait. Somebody said scorpion eggs. Somebody said scorpion live births. Now I gotta know. Are scorpions like sharks? Do scorpions lay eggs? Scorpions do not lay eggs. So, who said it? Too geek to be chic is 100% correct. They keep them on their back. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've seen it. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. Who wants some nightmare fuel? How do you like your nightmares? Does it look like that? Because mine, I don't like it. I don't like that I'm holding it in my hand. Oh, no. It gave me the chills. I got the little, like, I got the spine tingler from that one. All right, we're about 20 minutes. We got about 20 minutes. I'm going to give you all 20 minutes. Here we go. Randall the Atlas is a roller with a servo, wheels, tires, Canyon custom mediums inside RC four-wheel drive, swampers. He's been converted to 80 millimeter. He's got an operable winch, the blue case servo, etc. I don't know why I'm selling it. I'm giving it away. I don't need to talk it up. Simple question. I have converted it into both modes, so people that are distant can participate. People that are nearby can participate. In your best estimate, how big is the canyon? Square feet, square meters. One guess per entrant. Don't start at 1 foot and then say 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. No. One guess per person, the closest to the actual number in feet or meters. I did both. Yeah, and if it's not a thing, if it doesn't speak to you, if she's not there in your ear going, would that spark joy? Then don't. It's not mandatory. Just because I'm giving something away doesn't mean you have to get it. If you don't want it, you don't want it. You know what? I like a proper specific guess. It gives me faith that people will make a guess like down to the foot. I like that. I really do. Did I actually install all the parts in this step? I think I did. Well, I did, except for the part that is, I think, like a winch mount or a pivot mount or something up front. I haven't installed that yet. I don't even know what part that is. Look at the size differential between these two boys. It's just a hair bigger. It's just a hair bigger. I really enjoy casual crawlers. Good luck, all I have more rigs than time to enjoy them. Yep. Oh, you metric guys, you can say it in meters. I did the math. I computed both. I have them both written down. Sam Stevens with the throwing it up. That is fantastic. 130,000 is a guess. So we've seen 14,000 a number of times. So I guess I'd have to go with the first person that guessed 14,000. 3 acres. 3 acres is a great one. I wish. Oh my God. No, I don't wish. My God, that would. Think of how many rocks it would take to fill 3 acres. People are hovering right. Oh, Dana Servo with the 44,000. Oh, I see Sofa King is going for the 1 over. Stunod with 14,399 and Sofa King with 14,400. Apparently, people love the night stuff enough that I'm going to have to do another night one. And I think I'm going to try it with the 22. That 22 millimeter lens is like an F. It's around an F2. It should get real smooth. We should get some real smooth and dreamlike outdoor footage out there. And also, recording that footage, it really did help on one thing, and that's that Mount Tumbledore is basically in the dark, despite the fact that there's a light string that runs like right perpendicular to it. It's right next to where the light boxes are that control the lights. I think at least 3 strands need to go down, and I wanted to get, I was ready. I was ready to get at least 1 box at Costco on Wednesday because I know exactly where I need to run that line. And they were like, "Yep, I guess seasonally we don't have that around." Yep, 11 strands of 24, 264. Actually, that's technically I am incorrect because there are 264 sockets, but the 1 strand right where it comes out of the box doesn't have a bulb in it because the bulb would basically be behind the box with the lights in it. So it's actually only 263 watts of fury, but we want to get 24 72 more out there. So we'll be up to 336 watts of fury. The 336. Yeah, what about running in the night with someone that has lights? Argenum has full lights. Ghost Rover has headlights, which is usually enough. I gotta scroll back up. I'm using Monitor 2 for chat today, and I've closed all my other apps because we basically stopped dropping frames. Since I did that, we've dropped a couple hundred, like 300 frames, and we dropped like 3,000 in the first 15 minutes. Where was it? I saw it. Okay. I think Tim Duncan's was the very first guess. Yeah, okay. All right. While you guys are answering, I'm gonna Google something. It's messing with my head because I feel like the numbers are hitting more than once. Yeah, okay, that one repeated. Yeah, what are we guessing? Mr. Hurley, we are guessing, they are guessing the size of the canyon in square feet and or square meters, whichever works for you better, to get that. Some people, I love it. I love when people throw out a real particular number. Anthony Brubaker with a 17,494, Sam Stevens with a 21,780, JDA with a 120,121 square feet. Those are I like a properly specific number. So I give another what? Like two more minutes. I'll give like 2 more minutes for anybody who hasn't gotten a guess in, or I can just wait for the guesses to peter off a little. Yeah, Brogy with a 13,527. I like a super specific number because the number for the giveaway for when the Flanco went, from the Ratchet build was it got to a very specific number. 3/4 of an acre. Oh, I wish. Oh, that'd be great. This is nobody went for 37. That's the number, man. Apparently everybody goes for 37. Somebody should have gone for 37. There's that thing about, like, we've all seen it, where they hold up a tape measure and they say to somebody, pull this out to where there's like a foot. And some people get it, and some people are, I mean, if you're off by 2 inches, you're off by a sixth. You're off by 16%. So that's off by a lot. Is it Price is Right rules closest without it going over? No, just whoever's the closest. JP Wirt back from Apex Scale Challenge. I swear that a lot of the names in here were green or should be green and are gray now. Oh man, 1.779 square furlongs. Can you square a furlong? I don't know. I'm legitimately asking. I don't know if you can square a furlong. I have to put all unused fasteners back in their bags or I will lose them. I honestly, I think that there might have been some degree of disadvantage self-issued by the Europeans who were guessing in feet. When I know that in some places over in Europe they still use the feet. No. A furlong is not a measurement of water depth, that's a fathom. A furlong is a unit of distance. Water depth. Yeah, it is. That's the only place I know the furlong from either is horse racing. 660 feet. Yeah, it's an eighth of a mile. Yeah. Which a lot of the Europeans are all, what? 660 watts is an eighth of a what? The furlong fathom is a that's a legit. I can imagine a lot of people getting a furlong and a fathom because they both, I think both of those would pretty comfortably qualify as archaic units of measure. I don't know anybody like river boatmen are still using fathoms, I guess, or what's that stick? The riverboat thing where they would stick the stick in the ground. It's not in the water to find the depth. That's not a fathom, is it? It's like 7 feet. What's a roughly 7 foot unit of measure? When the old riverboatmen on the boats on the Mississippi would measure the depth of the water, what? Oh, see? I'm amazed I didn't mix up fathom and furlong. Wait, are people guessing more than once? All right, then, well, I mean, some people are throwing out like squared parsecs. All right, so I have seen the same number, like the same numbers, like 14,000 was guessed numerous times. 14,400 was guessed numerous times. In the 14,000 range was guessed numerous times. Then I saw multiple occurrences of a particular number, 10,890 square feet. I think I saw it at least 3 times. I might have seen it 4 times. The first time I saw it was actually in the first dozen or so guesses. Actually, it was past this. I'm making sure. I'm trying to make sure that nobody guessed before that. Was that the first 10,890 that I saw? Yes. Tim Duncan's was the first guess at 14,000. Then we had Psycho Garage at 14,400. Savage Okie 120 by 120, which would be 14,400. Then a 14,624. A lot of people were guessing right around 14,000. Barry Rhodes at, we got RGRC 6521 way down there at 4,550. And Barry Rhodes way up there at 40,000, which is, 40,000 is real big. 150 by 200 would be like 30,000 square feet. Ed Scrivener, 1,100 square meters, 22,000. Then we get down to, I've lost it. I scrolled and I lost it. Sam Stevens, 130,000. That's a fantastic guess. That's way out there. Driver 8 at a tenth of that, 13,978. Jeff at the Temple, 10,890. The Canyon is, I measured it this morning. Can you believe this? This is America. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. You want to know how American it is? When they put up the second chain link fence, there was the initial chain link fence behind which are the containers. So imagine that the camera square that you're in right now is the canyon. Here's the edges. This is the south side. This is the north side. This is the east end. This is the west end. This is the east end. From this fence to this fence is exactly 100 feet. To the inch, 100 feet from fence to fence. From, I got to do it with this hand, from this fence to this fence, it is, and I kid you not, I have one of the little rollers with the wheel with the clicker that goes over. The inches rolled from 11 inches to 0 at 110 feet. The canyon is exactly 11,000 square feet, 1,022 square meters. Jeff at the Temple, the 10890, the first of about 5 guesses at 10890. He got it. I wanted to see like how big is a football pitch relative, like how many canyons would fit on a football pitch, and then I Googled it and was immediately filled with rage. The length of a pitch must be between 90 meters and 120 meters, and the width not less than 45 meters and not more than 190 meters. What? What kind of European running around drinking wine on the street nonsense is that? Okay, that's football pitch size. American football field size. The entire field is a rectangle, 360 feet long and 160 feet wide. That's a football field. A football pitch is any of a couple different numbers in between a range, not narrower than 45 and not wider than 90. That's literally double. Somewhere in Europe, is there a soccer pitch that's only 45 meters wide and there's another one that's 90? That means that there's a soccer field, sorry, this is America, we call it soccer, that's as wide, almost as wide as a football field is long, an American football field. That's crazy. What they need to do, you want to know how to get traditional football, soccer, as they call it? Do you want to know how to get soccer popular in America? Make the field a quarter the size and the net twice as big, because we love score. And 0-0 after 90 minutes in injury time is not a thing you're going to get Americans to catch on to. You need to get those scores up into the double digits. You know, if the final score at your soccer game is like 23-18, Americans will start to watch it. Also, no fouling. So what is 100 feet in meters? About 33, roughly. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, to me, and I guess it's the trees that do it. I don't know what it is that does it. To me, it looks, so how are Americans into hockey? Violence. It's the opposite of soccer. You can absolutely flatten a guy, and at worst, you'll get 5 minutes in the penalty box, and then you get to come out and do it again. There will be fights. We go and watch like Bush League hockey, and there's fights. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. Yeah, if soccer had, well, yeah, I mean, isn't soccer and hockey just kind of rugby? It's just like a fight going on, but there's a ball in the middle. Soccer is and always will be the future sport of America. Only if there's shooting involved. Crawler Canyon, the canyon is a square or a rectangle. To me, it looks very rectangular. It looks way wider than it is big this way. But I guess that's a perception thing, and that's on me because it's 110 by 100. Exactly. Like to the inch. And that's only 10 feet wider than it is this way. So it's almost a square. It's a rectangle, but it's very, like if you shrink it down, it would be 11 by 10. It's a small enough rectangle that you would cut it wrong in the table saw because you would cut the wrong side. You were sitting on roughly 1/10 of a hectare of crawling goodness. Now, I prefer that even more, 1/10 of a hectare. Yes, but baseball stadium sizes and wall heights are just as bad as soccer fields, if not worse. If not worse. What about, what is it, Tropicana, the one that has a pole that's actually in the outfield? The outfield grass goes up past the warning truck and there's a pole on it? Yeah. Moving on from the giveaway to the international besmirchment section of our stream. Yeah, I can yell about soccers. One run in. How many innings after how many hours? Oh, well, an assumption. You clearly haven't watched baseball lately. They made all those changes, which people were up in arms about last season. Games are crisp now. Baseball game clocking in, I think the average game this year is like 2 hours, 10 minutes. They pitch clock, only allowing the one pickoff throw to first, the bigger bases, so there's more stealing. Because the pitchers have to rush it, pitchers are looking better, but when the batters acclimate, they're better hitters. They're hitting more home runs. There's the run scoring is going up, but at the same time, other pitchers' ERAs are going down. Yeah, it's been great for the sport overall. Yeah, baseball was too slow, but I won't take any hack at it because soccer, they run around for 90 minutes and nothing happens. I've seen some soccer games which are exciting, but for the most part, they run around for 90 minutes and nothing happens. And then in football, the action is like, "Hurrah!" and then nothing happens for 5 more minutes. And then they go, "Hurrah!" And yet I still try to watch it, But I understand, hockey, the action is constant. Basketball, the action is constant. I get different things for different folks, but I would rather try to learn the rules of cricket than watch soccer, football. Roughly a quarter of an acre. Yeah, we used to be an acre, and then we got eminent domain when they put the sidewalk in, and we are now 0.89 acres. So by that, I actually have a little bit over a quarter of the whole yard for the canyon, fence to fence. Yeah, I feel like I've been putting tools away this whole time, so I feel like I'm already firmly into the Midwest goodbye. I think that the lens, this lens was part of the blowing of the Google money. I got a Canon EFS, nice, tight, like we can, look how close can we focus up to the lens? How close is the autofocus? Look at that. Look at that. There's the dust. And like, you can get into I had it earlier. You can get all the way, look at that. This thing will focus down to like 1.5 inches. So good. So good. And the autofocus is not goofing around like the autofocus was on the 22. The 22, I know I put a picture of it on the Discord. Oh, by the way, Jeff at the Temple, he's in I know he's on the Discord. So you don't even have to email, just direct message me on the Discord. And we'll get that going. Oh, okay. We got to do 2 things because the goodbye is underway. We got to do 2 things. We can use this. This should work. So, this, amazing. $1,316 grams for rails, gearbox, and servo. And then the rear axle will take that to 2,000 grams. And then the front axle will take that to 2,300. We already said we had 700 grams of wheels. This thing's double digits for sure. This thing is going to be for bird photography, I'm getting a 150-600. Go all the way, man. Get one of those doublers. Canon, I don't know about others, Canon makes a 4X. So if you have a 2,000 millimeter lens, Canon will take you out to 8,000 millimeters. You can look right into that bird's nose holes. Yeah, I don't really have any use for big lenses. I think you just click on the person's name on Discord and you can send them a direct message, I think. Or, you can just email me at crawlercanyon@gmail.com, which, I'm not telling you don't email me. I get too many emails. I'm just saying that it's probably easier to get it on there. So, I posted it on the Discord, but for those of you not on the Discord, I got to run and get it. All right, so I'm going to try to get my kid to film, right? But if we're going to try to get the kid to film, then we're going to throw him into the deep end, right? Straight into the deep end. What? It's got this guy. It's got the joystick back here. I think you're supposed to two-hand it. And we do this. Oh. It's got it has a flip mode. You can do. So this is a proper 3-axis steady cam. I don't know what any of the modes do. I haven't learned it yet. My kid has skinny, spindly arms. We're going to see how a kid manages that. And this is the perfect application for that 22. So we're running the Canon 22 on there, which used to be the lens in here. Look, it's cameraception. It's a camera through a camera. So that kid has never swung a camera before, and they are going to learn. They got me so good. I had paid for the gimbal, the guys that make the drones, DJI. I have a DJI gimbal for a cell phone. That thing was like almost $300. This was $170. This was $170. What was I doing? Was I tricked by the name? Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is like, you're gonna find that on the ground. There's a point right here. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna figure out how to attach a harness to this thing. If we can get that kid on just like a steady harness, so it has a screw in on the bottom. We get the shoulder straps with the tripod that comes out, the little triangle with and then that thing is just mounted right there. And then we're going to turn that kid into a steady cam operator. You're becoming a camera nerd. I don't know about becoming. I was a camera nerd since I had my Pentax K1000. When I got my first full manual camera, the camera nerdery started then. So we'll see. Like I said, we're about 17 hours away or so. I have to go get a tooth extracted. So we are going to see how that impacts filming schedule. I genuinely don't know. Because hopefully it's a fairly straightforward job. But you never know, you know? Turn this off. Let's not forget to turn it off. All right. So, I would like to start filming at deadline. That is the hope. That is the hope and the goal and the plan. But we will adapt as we go. Have you tried the Insta360? You can ask it to track an object. Yeah, I tried a 360. I had one for about 6 hours. I tried a 360 cam, and the problem is these things, relative to what a camera sees, these things are very small. So it doesn't like to track them. And then when you zoom in, even shooting everything at 4K, like the high-end ones shoot at like 8K, and that's because then you're going to zoom back in to a tiny little piece of it. It was just not my cup of tea. It also cost as much as a PlayStation 5. So I took it direct to the Best Buy and traded it in on a PlayStation 5 and have not regretted that for even 1 second. Because this, which I just set down, this all together is less than $500. So I just need to get somebody to hold it for me. I mean, I could hold it myself, but then I'd have to get them to drive. There's the other option. The kid drives and I'll hold the camera. That would be an absolute catastrophe. An absolute catastrophe. Yes, Deadline, Wheelin' Wednesday will continue. Crawlympics for the foreseeable future will be occurring on Wednesdays. I'm really interested to see what this looks like after YouTube does all the processing and stuff, like tomorrow afternoon, to see what it looks like. Because I mean, if it feels warmer and more inviting, then I feel like we've succeeded. The new lens was great. The autofocus worked great. You know what worked great? All of y'all. Not just all of y'all. All of y'all too. All of y'all over there. Some patina on there. A little patina on there. All right, you know what, everybody? Thanks for coming on by the canyon. My favorite day of the week. Late hello, just popping in. Yeah, we are headed out. Yeah, by the end of it, the kid would be a pretty good driver. Yeah. Tony, I have thought about building a dolly track. I have thought about building a wire. The thing is, any of the options, somebody needs to be controlling it. And it can't be me. So, I mean, I might end up building a chest rig and just running that gimbal on my chest. I'll do it all. No. That kid needs to help me. So I'm going to go. I'm going to get a coffee drink. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think about my tooth. I think I did pretty well considering how messed up this tooth is. And I'll see you all in the next one. Remember, Oily Chavs tomorrow. The next installment of this fella off of frame. The next installment of this fella is on Sunday. And then I think Monday. Are they on the rack? Are they on the rack? Yeah. Class 1 Scramblers on Monday. So there's your next 3 days. And that's as far as I've tracked out in videos. That's as far as I've filmed out. I have other stuff lined up. I've got stuff sitting right behind me in boxes, but we can only go as fast as we go. So I'll see you in the next one. I have a little bit more cleaning up to do. Yeah, if he doesn't want to, force him to do it. Oh no, I've been telling that kid for weeks. They need to get ready. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're gonna shut it down. I wish there was a way to like we could fade the screen to black, but I don't know how that works. So so I'm just gonna go up here and click the button that says stop streaming. I'll see you in the next one, everybody. Get a hold of me. Jeff the Temple, get a hold of me. We will get that out of here.